So agenda for today very quickly. I mean, I think I'm 2 minutes late, but it's good. So we did a welcome introduction, right? Then I'm gonna turn to Robbie. Robbie gonna spend 30 minutes on building a powerful profile on LinkedIn. So very specifically the profile because that's the only thing. That's the first thing people see, right? See you on LinkedIn. That's super important. It's just like you have a store, how you decorate your store, right? So people can have a good impression before they start doing anything with you, right? And then Steffi gonna talk about turning a $100 hour fairy tale into reality on LinkedIn. So very good story and gonna be very inspirational. I love that, right? Love it. So after Steffi, it's gonna be me. I will be talking about niche teaching on LinkedIn. All right. So how niche teaching works on LinkedIn, why LinkedIn is a good place for niche teaching for 30 minutes. After that, I'll spend 15 minutes talk about our most successful program, the 21-day Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge. And we are starting the enrollment for the September round. I want to do a very brief introduction to the challenge, and hopefully some of you want to join us in that September round, okay? Starting in September, the 21-day challenge. After that, that will be probably at 1 p.m. Eastern time, like 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. CET. I'm gonna start our panel session. I invited probably like 6, 7 teachers. I'm not sure everyone can make it, but I think majority are gonna be here. These are teachers who work with us. These are teachers who've been using LinkedIn for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years even. Some of them have even like almost 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. So they will be coming to the panel and talk about their experience with LinkedIn, their experience with the niche teaching, and answer your questions, okay? At the end, we're gonna leave 15 minutes, do the Q&A, and send you the show up bonus to remind you, right? We have 3 show up bonuses that we're gonna share with you at the end. Please stay to the end, okay? One is LinkedIn banner profile photo templates. You can just use, update your LinkedIn profile, 30 proven LinkedIn post templates if you want to post things on LinkedIn. All presentation slides used in this webinar, all these 3. Okay, that's all from me. I am 5 minutes late, but I think Robbie gonna be okay with that. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing, and then I'll give it to Robbie. By the way, we have 190 people here. Well done, everyone. Welcome. If you're late, don't worry. We just started, okay? The good stuff just started. And that's all from me. Robbie, take over.
Awesome. Thanks so much, James. Wow, 190 people. I feel like you're trying to make me nervous now before I get started. All right, let's jump in. Can everybody see my screen? You should be looking at some slides. Just give me a yes in the chat. Awesome. All right. Brilliant. Okay. And just in case you joined a little bit late, I want to emphasize, please don't feel pressured. Like you need to write everything down and you need to take notes during the presentation. Everyone here is going to receive a copy of all the slides and also the recording. If you want to take notes, go for it. But just, yeah, don't feel like you need to write everything down. Okay, let's jump in. Let me tell you the plan for the next 30 minutes. And I promised the team I'd try to keep this to exactly 30 minutes. So I'm going to do my very best with that. So first of all, I want to talk about a big misconception about LinkedIn and about LinkedIn profiles. And this was a misconception I had when I started out. So I think it's really, really important if you're just getting started that we clear this up. Next, I'm going to talk about what your LinkedIn profile really is if you're a teacher using LinkedIn to get your own independent students. Then we're going to talk about how you can really ensure your profile ticks all of the right boxes to make it as effective as possible at helping you get your own students. And then finally, it wouldn't be a presentation if I didn't share some of my own mistakes that you can avoid. So hopefully this will speed up the process for you. So if that sounds good, if you're still with me, if you're ready to jump in, just give me a yes in the chat or an emoji or a let's go or awesome. All right. I love the, oh, wow, all capitals and 2 exclamation marks by Jane. That is awesome. Love the enthusiasm. Okay. Great stuff. So, first, I just want to talk about why I'm so excited to be speaking with you today about this topic. So, like the majority of you. I come from a teaching background. I worked as an English second language teacher in my home city of Dublin. In case you can't guess from my accent, I'm Irish, and I absolutely loved teaching. But I'm sure, like many of you, if you're working in TAFL, you know there are some limitations and some frustrations in the industry, and quite a lot of uncertainty as well. So, at 2 points in my 8 year teaching career, private schools I'd worked for, closed pretty suddenly. So, even though I loved the job, I knew long term it wasn't really the most sustainable option. So obviously in 2020, COVID happened, the lockdown happened, and I started to explore other options. So I thought, okay, the obvious choice, I'm a teacher. There's this wonderful thing called the internet. I'm going to move online and I'm going to find my own private students. And I spent about 6 or 7 months trying a lot of different things. I had a lot of energy. I knew what I wanted. So it was really cool to read some of your comments at the beginning when James asked, why are you here? And I can really, really relate to a lot of what you've said. For me, I was never one of these six-figure business guys, but I was really clear that I wanted to teach who I wanted, when I wanted, where I wanted, and to be able to make enough money that I could do some traveling and live in different places. So that was my goal, and I tried pretty much everything. I spent a lot of time and money building a website. There was just one problem. As many of you know, you could have an amazing website, but if no one knows it's there, it doesn't really do a lot of good. So yeah, that wasn't the most productive use of my time. And I also experimented with Instagram, which is really cool, but I struggled. After about 6 months, I didn't really have a lot to show for my effort. I had a few private students. They were paying me around €25 an hour, and I struggled to really get past that point. So it was in December 2020 when I received a message on Instagram from a man you all know, James Liu, and he made this really, really bold claim. He said it's possible for English teachers to earn $100 an hour teaching online. And as someone who is an English teacher who had a lot of experience in the industry, I was naturally very skeptical. But James, he persevered. He sent me his ebook and I read it and it made a lot of sense. So I decided to do his 21-day challenge. And that's really when I got introduced to LinkedIn for the first time. And yeah, I'm gonna be sharing a lot of the really, really cool things I've learned about that. But the reason I'm so passionate about sharing this with you, and the reason I jumped at the opportunity when James invited me to speak to you today, is LinkedIn is really what made it possible for me to be able to teach independently online. So around 6 months after I took the 21-day challenge, after setting up my LinkedIn, being consistent on there, I was making enough money to be able to teach independently online. So I didn't need to work for the platforms anymore. I didn't need to go back to my old school. So yeah, LinkedIn is really what made this possible. And for the last year, I've been working with other teachers to share what I've learned and to share some of the marketing insights I've learned that made this possible. All right, so that is my story. Hopefully I haven't put you asleep. Right now it's time to jump into the good stuff. So for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to share the most valuable things I've learned about LinkedIn that have made this possible. And the cool thing is, when I started to apply this, I started to receive messages like this. So students in my niche, and the team are going to be talking more about niche teaching today, but I started to receive inbound messages, people actually reaching out to me who had looked at my profile, asking me about my program, asking if we could jump on a call so I could explain more about it. So all right, let's get started. So let's talk about what your LinkedIn profile really is as an independent teacher. It's your landing page, it's your website, it's your home base. Okay, your LinkedIn profile. This is going to be the foundation you're going to build your business on. So for that reason, it's really, really important we make sure it's a strong one. Now, my old LinkedIn profile, I know a lot of you from the question James asked, some of you have LinkedIn, but you're not using it to get students yet. So maybe you can relate to what my old LinkedIn profile was. So I thought LinkedIn, it was just an online CV. So I had some facts about myself. I had a list of my qualifications and my work experience. Now, the result, as an independent teacher trying to get students, nothing on my profile actually resonated with the students I wanted to work with the people whom I wanted to become my clients. So the big discovery and the light bulb moment was, as an independent teacher, yes, your LinkedIn profile is for you. It's an asset for your business, but it's not about you. Your LinkedIn profile should be about the students, the niche you want to help. And that means every word, image, and sentence on our profile, it should be crafted to speak to them and only them. Okay. So let me check in now. Everything makes sense so far? You guys, you still with me? Awesome. All right. Great stuff. Wow. 211 people here. It's fantastic. Okay. So I'm a huge believer in simplicity. So I want to make this really, really digestible for you. When it comes to starting to craft your LinkedIn profile, there are two main goals we want to have in mind. The first is our LinkedIn profile should demonstrate to our students that we're the right person to help them. Okay. And number two, it should make it as easy as possible for them to take action and to become your clients. And yeah, in business, action is a really important word, because if nobody takes action, well, then it's impossible to have a successful business. All right, so let's get into some of the more practical tips now. But first, let me do a little quick test. All right, I want to see how much attention you guys have been paying so far. So your LinkedIn profile as an online teacher, this is just a CV. True or false? All right, awesome. Okay. Okay, good. All right, we're all on the same page. Fantastic. Okay. What is the purpose of your LinkedIn profile as an independent teacher? Bonus points if someone can give me the two. All right, to get students, attract students. Yep. Okay. Yep. Awesome. All right, nobody's mentioned the keyword yet. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, right person. Absolutely. The right person to demonstrate that you're the right person to help the students you want to help. And then Stacy says, make it easy. Make it easy to take action. Awesome. All right. Fantastic. So, now when it actually comes to getting clients, one really, really important thing I learned when I dove into marketing and started learning about the principles is it's impossible for someone to decide to actually invest in getting your help unless you can first demonstrate that you understand exactly where they're at right now. Okay. And another way to view this is, how is someone meant to believe you can help them get out of their current situation if you don't first demonstrate that you get their current situation? All right. So this all starts with your LinkedIn profile headline. All right. So let me give you a quick challenge. All right. I'm going to show you an example of a LinkedIn profile headline. And if you're unfamiliar with LinkedIn, your headline is what appears right at the top of your profile. It's like that first sentence before your name. Okay. So let me know what you guys think of this headline. Do you think this does a good job demonstrating an understanding of the students? Give me a yes or a no in the chat. Or maybe you can give it a score out of 10 if we want to be more specific. Okay, good. Everyone's saying no. Someone said no specific niche. Gloria says it's very general. Yeah, James Carney says no. Roberta says it's not clear. Dawn gives it a 2 out of 10. David gives it a 3 out of 10. Okay, yeah, I agree with you guys. This is just fine. It's like the same as 98, 99% of online teachers out there, but it doesn't embody that really important principle we talked about. It doesn't demonstrate an understanding. So let's check out another example and let me know what you guys, and be really honest with your feedback on this. I'm not saying this is perfect, but I'm curious to know what you guys think about this headline. Let me know in the chat. Better, worse? Samuel says this one will be a yes. Claudia says much better. Rita says too wordy. There are a lot of words going on here. Yeah, that's a fair point. Better. Someone says info overload, better but confusing. Much better. Yeah, let's break this one down. Okay, let's break down what's actually happening here, and then let's talk about how you can apply some of this to your own headline. And there is a lot of information here. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. But first, let's talk about what this headline does right. Okay. Now, This first sentence here, does it try to appeal to every student out there or a specific group of students? Let me know. Specific, niche. Yeah, absolutely. Group. All right. So we're targeting a particular group. So here we're differentiating ourselves from all the general English teachers out there. And the reason this is so important to do is, and it's just getting worse and worse, if you've looked online lately, the rates ESL teachers, general ESL teachers, teachers who position themselves as generalists are charging, it's just a race to the bottom. I've seen $10. I've seen less than $10 an hour. And yeah, so it's very, very important we don't join that race to the bottom and we differentiate ourselves so our potential students can understand that we are a specialist. Okay, so we've got Italian executives. Let's have a look at the next part here. New career opportunities. What are we actually talking about here? New career opportunities. Okay, if I'm a member of this niche and I'm looking at this headline, okay, aspirational. Jim says he's seen $4 an hour for the general teachers. Get a better job. Absolutely. All right. So if you think about it, improving your English, a lot of people associate this with general English teachers, $10 an hour, $5 an hour. Okay. New career opportunities. Now we're tying the goal that our coaching helps move someone towards to something that is perceived as really, really valuable. Well, a new job, a new promotion, a new opportunity in your career, I'd argue most people are going to perceive that as a lot more valuable than just $10 an hour. Okay, so this person is showing that they're providing really valuable service to a very specific group of people. And then they mention how they deliver it. And something else clever they've done here is, and I know this is quite a bold claim, but right now, everybody out there, all of us, we're all looking for the easiest and the quickest way to get what we want. So this person, they're making a claim in their headline that they can help people advance their English communication skills so they can unlock new career opportunities in 10 weeks or less. It's a bold claim, but thankfully they've backed it up with a little bit of proof here. So we can see that they're qualified. This may not be important to some students, but some students may place some importance on it. And they're also reassuring the reader that they've got testimonials as well to back up the claim. And finally, they finish with a call to action. Okay, so let's break this down into a checklist you can apply. Now, you don't need to follow this framework exactly, but it is very, very important you say who you help in your headline. So the specific group you're teaching, your coaching is targeted towards. You want to mention their main goal. And this is a really, really important differentiation to make. Okay, as a niche teacher, as a specialist, their main goal, it's not better English. Their main goal is the thing having better English is going to allow them to reach. So if you're working with adults, if you're working with professionals, the people who are going to pay you $50 an hour, $60, $70, $100 an hour, they're only going to pay that kind of money if they can see that your coaching is going to help them get the real goals, the underlying motivation they have for improving their English. So whether that's a promotion, whether it's a new job, whether it's a position at an international company. Okay, so that's something you want to mention in your headline, and that's going to do a really, really good job of demonstrating your understanding too, because you're showing you know what they really want and how you help them. Okay. In this case, it's by advancing your English communication skills in 10 weeks or less. Okay, awesome. All right, I want to give you an extra tip for your headline. Okay, this is something really cool. So those of you who are already familiar and quite active on LinkedIn, you probably already know this. But if you're new to LinkedIn, this is almost like a little cheat code you can use. Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is a comment I made on LinkedIn. And so this is something people can see not on my profile. This appears in the main feed. So it has the potential for a lot of people to see this. And what you can see here, it's got my name, but what do we see down here? Well, this is the first part of my headline. So what this means is it's actually possible for people to see part of our headline before they even jump to our profile. And that's why it's a really, really good idea to mention the specific group you help and the specific goal you help them achieve, because this is a good way you can create a good first impression even before someone views your profile, or at the very least trigger a little bit of curiosity among the group you want to help, so they might go and check out your profile. And then remember, everything on your profile is designed to show you the right person to help and get them to take action. So it's another string you have to your bow. It's another tool you have in your arsenal to generate leads, to generate potential students. So yeah, to summarize, the first part of your headline is visible before someone views your profile. So anytime you make a post or make a comment, people can see this first part. This means every time you post or leave a comment on LinkedIn, you have a chance to make a great impression with potential students before they even view your profile. All good? How we doing? Let me check in. Let me do a time check as well. And I'll see the comments. Yeah, good, good, good. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Someone mentioned research. Yeah, it's a really, really important point. Obviously, everything starts with research. And if you start to take action before you've actually done your research and actually studied your niche, studied what they want, studied what they need help with, well, then our actions aren't going to really help us reach our goal. So yeah, so to be able to do all of this and to know what to say, to know how to craft the right profile, you've got to do your homework. You've got to study your niche. So yeah, that was a great comment. I think it was Amy mentioned it. Okay, let's talk about another really important part of your profile. All right, and that is your banner. Okay, and this appears right up on the top, right? So it's one of the first things people see. So they're going to see your banner, your profile picture, and your headline. So this is actually my current banner, what I've got right now. I'm always tweaking and I'm always adjusting and I'm always testing, but this banner has worked really, really well for me. So I want to share a couple of things going on in the banner and yeah, a couple of tips, a couple of suggestions. Yeah, good stuff here. Great. Yeah. So let's talk about what's going on here and let's talk about how you can apply these principles to, yeah, to make your own profile more effective. So we'll start up here. Okay. It's quite a bold statement, right? Remember, this is the statement James made to me, and my reaction was skepticism. So I'm fully aware. People who don't know me, maybe they've never seen my content, they don't know much about me, they haven't been following me. They're gonna be skeptical when they see this. It's perfectly normal, it's perfectly okay. So one of my main missions here in this banner is yes, talk about a goal I help people reach, but at the same time, I want to be prepared and I want to combat this skepticism. And one very, very important thing about my background is, and I want people to notice, is I come from a teaching background myself. I've worked as a teacher, I've worked as an assistant director of studies and a teacher trainer. And this is an aspect I bring to my coaching. So what I've done on my banner is I've incorporated some photos from my teaching career, both in a classroom teaching and also giving a presentation to other teachers. So this is a principle called social proof. So I'm going to throw it back at you guys now. Okay. As teacher entrepreneurs, as independent teachers, what type of photos could you put in your banner that will help you overcome some initial skepticism your potential students might have when they view your profile? Let me know your ideas in the chat. What might work well here? Someone says, nice one, Mr. Robbie. I don't think I've ever been called Mr. Robbie before, but yeah, thank you, Sean. Yeah, students in your banner. Yeah, yes. Juan left a really, really good comment here. A photo teaching a class or interacting with a student. I said, okay, so any photographs you have of you in a classroom environment, teaching, lecturing, or interacting with a student are going to work really, really well because instantly people can see you're a teacher, you've worked with other students, and naturally they're going to assume you know you have experience and you know what you're doing. Yeah, someone mentioned students laughing. That's a great one too. Yeah, if we can see you're teaching a class and the students are having a great time, they're enjoying the experience, that would work really, really well. Two, if you only teach online, maybe you've taught a group class, maybe you've done a webinar, maybe a picture of you presenting in that webinar and you can see the happy faces there and everybody listening to you. That could work really, really well as well. Samuel says, a picture of you driving a Ferrari. Yeah, I'm not sure if that will work too well. It depends on your target market. If your target market, someone mentioned research, if your target market are a group of guys in their early 20s who are very money hungry, well, then if that's who you're pitching to, well, then a picture of you in a Ferrari might work well. But I'm not sure the average professional who wants better English communication skills, the Ferrari would be too effective. But yeah, I'm glad you made that comment because it's a good point. It's all about who, right? Everything is crafted to speak to your market. And that's why I work with teachers now. That's why I've put a big focus on my teaching background. So let's break this down. Okay. In your banner, use an image that builds social proof, okay? And there were some great suggestions from you guys in the comment. You could ask a thought-provoking question, or you can make a claim. So right now, I have a claim, but thought-provoking questions also work well. So an example for you guys, if you're working with professionals with their English communication skills, you could use a question like, how would having better English communication skills impact your career, right? So it gets people thinking, it gets people imagining. Don't use too much small text. This is really, really important. I would say my banner right now, it's right at the borderline of text. So certainly don't use more text than in my example right now. And if anything, less text will be better here. One other important thing to keep in mind, LinkedIn has a mobile app, which is very, very popular. And on the mobile app, the banner appears a little bit differently. So this is what it appears like if someone's using a laptop. But if they're using the mobile app, the profile picture appears much bigger. So what that means is you want to make sure none of your text is going to be obscured by your profile picture on your banner. So I've measured this out just the right amount. So yeah, nothing important is obscured on the mobile app. So that's something important to keep in mind too. Okay. All right. Okay. We're almost there. All right. There's one other really, really important element of your profile I want to talk to you guys about today. So yeah, I'm gonna just check in with the comments here. Yeah, someone says teaching and demonstrating, you have a great relationship with the students. Yeah, also, of course, if you're using pictures of students, you want to make sure you have permission to use those too. Okay, so your about section. Let me check in. Anyone know what the about section is, where it appears, why it's important? Let me know. Okay, great stuff. Okay. All right, cool. So your about section, this is about halfway down your profile, okay? And the reality is most people, if you view your profile, they're not going to read this. But if your banner and your headline have done a good job building trust, showing an understanding of your potential students, well, then people who want to know more and are curious about potentially working with you, they're going to scroll down and they're going to look for more information and they're going to land on your about section. So let me throw this one back to you, okay? And keep in mind a lot of the principles we've talked about so far today. What do you think you should talk about in this section of your profile? Let me know. Someone says their experience. Someone says your ideal client. The problem, the bad solution, social proof, says Ash. Hey, Ash, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Niche focus. All right, okay. The good news is all of you are right, but there is an order we can do this that is going to be most effective. So I want to break that down. I want to give you guys a framework you can follow for writing an effective about section. Okay. So the very, very first thing you need is you want to start with a hook. Now, those of you who are doing this a while, I'm sure you're totally familiar with the concept of a hook, but just for anyone who isn't, anyone who's very new to marketing and is just getting started, let me know in the comments, how would you describe a hook? What is a hook? Let me know. Is it a big chunky paragraph or is it just something short and easy to read? Someone says, Lorna says to draw people in. Guy says a teaser. Yeah, draw them in quickly. Yeah, so this is going to be one or two short sentences, and the only purpose of your hook is to get someone to keep reading. So just to show you the way this actually appears on LinkedIn is all someone can see in your about section before they click see more is these first two lines. Okay, so this is your hook, and its goal is to get someone to click see more, so they're going to continue reading. So a couple of tips for your hook. Should you talk about you or should you talk about your ideal students? Absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna talk about the students, okay? You might touch on a goal they have. You might mention a specific niche, okay? So for example, are you an Italian executive looking for new opportunities in your career? Question mark. Let me know if any of this resonates. Down arrow, okay? We mention a group, we mention a goal, and then we give them a reason to click see more, okay? From here, the next step, we're going to talk about challenges. And this goes back to one of the first things I mentioned to you guys today. The only way for someone to really believe you can help them is if you first demonstrate you understand them. So here we're going to talk about the challenges or pain points we know your students have. And this is where your research is really, really important. And someone, I saw a comment earlier, someone mentioned, but how does this help you make $100 an hour? This is a really, really important part of that. Because if you help someone get more vocabulary or just better pronunciation, well, no one is going to believe that's worth paying $100 an hour. They can find a million teachers on the internet who will help them with the same thing for $10 an hour. So you want to think, okay, what specific problems can I solve for my students that will lead, that they first, they really care about, and second, will lead to real tangible benefits in their career, in their job, when they go to work. Okay. So this could be things like you help your students answer job interview questions in English. Okay. Or if you do work with pronunciation, you want to link it to a real world benefit your students care about. So you help your students avoid pronunciation mistakes that lead to misunderstandings in meetings. Okay. That's something people really care about. That's a problem worth paying a lot of money to solve. Okay. So here you're going to mention 3 or 4 of the big challenges your students have that your coaching, your teaching helps them solve. Next up, okay, so someone mentioned in the comments your experience, right? And the mistake a lot of people make is they start with their experience and they start with their credentials. And yeah, it reads like a CV, like my old LinkedIn was, okay? If we start with a hook and we demonstrate an understanding of our students' challenges, now we're in a much stronger position to introduce our unique story, okay? To actually talk about, hey, here's why I'm passionate about helping you. Here's what I've made it my mission to work with you. Okay, so this would be the right moment to talk about. So if you've chosen a niche, you want to talk about why you work with that niche. Maybe you've experienced, so we'll go back to the example. If you work with Italian executives, maybe you have experience working in senior business positions and you've seen firsthand the barriers English can create there. You've seen people with technical skills, with experience, and English is that thing holding them back in their career. And that's why you've now made it your mission with this business to help them break through that barrier. Maybe if you're a non-native speaker yourself, right, and you belong to the same nationality as your niche, you could talk about how you've had to overcome these challenges and how now you're passionate about sharing what you've learned to help your niche overcome the same challenges. Okay, so really think about this. Whatever it is, whatever your story is, whatever drives you and motivates you to work with this particular niche, you're going to share it here. Then the logical next step is to talk about your solution. And remember, going back to that comment, I'm really glad someone made that comment about $100 an hour, because all of this adds up to making you worth paying that much money for your solution. If people think what you do is the same as all of the other teachers out there, well, then they're going to think it's worth paying you the same amount of money. So now you want to think about your teaching, your methodology, your approach, why it's a better option for them than all of the other teachers out there. Maybe it's because it's specialized on your particular niche. Maybe it's because you don't make them memorize boring lists of vocabulary like they had to learn at school or in general English courses, which didn't really help them in real life. Maybe it's because you don't make them go and study the entire Murphy's Grammar in Use book, but you help them avoid the mistakes that are actually leading to breakdowns in communication. Okay, whatever it is about your approach, your program, your coaching that makes it a better, faster, and more effective option, you're going to mention it here. And that's a huge part of being perceived as being worth more than $20, $30 an hour. Very, very important in marketing. Okay, we live right now, I think there's a crisis of credibility in the world. I think skepticism is at an all-time high. And hey, you guys, you could be the best teacher in the world, but if someone doesn't know you, they're naturally going to be skeptical. So now they've read about your program, they've heard you talk about why it's great, why it's better. Now it's really, really important to demonstrate some proof to support the claim you've made. So anytime in marketing, in your profiling, anytime you make a promise, you have to back it up with an equal amount of proof. So this would be a good place to talk about testimonials. So if you do help your students unlock new job opportunities, you could showcase a testimonial of a student you've worked with who, after completing your program, went for a new promotion and got a new job. And yeah, this is something that really, really helped me in my own teaching business start to get traction and start to bring in new students, because it gave me a lot of credibility. If you're just starting and you don't have testimonials from your niche yet, don't panic, okay? We all have to start somewhere, but maybe a big aspect of your coaching, you help people build confidence Maybe you have experience from your teaching career of working with other students. Maybe you've helped them build their confidence. Maybe they're less afraid of making mistakes now and they can communicate more effectively. Even if this person you helped wasn't part of your niche, having that experience is still going to be effective in building trust with your niche, as long as that outcome is still something that they care about. Okay. And finally, we talked about no action, no business. If someone has read all of this, I think it's a really safe bet to assume what you've shared has resonated and that they have a degree of interest. So we're going to finish up with a call to action, and a couple of really important tips about a call to action. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it too long. Don't mention any massive prices. Okay. Just make it a really simple, easy to take action. Okay. So for example, if you're ready to take that next step, I have space to work with a few more clients this month who want to get result, okay, the result you know they want. Message me the word English and I'll be happy to give you all of the information, okay? That's just one example of, we call that a low friction call to action, right? There aren't many big obstacles to someone taking action there. All they need to do is send you a message and they know they're going to get more info then. And then that's how you can start building that relationship, and you can pivot them onto a call then. And then you can do your, if they're a good fit, you can make your sale then privately that way. Okay. All right. It's a lot of talking here. Yeah. Amy says great teachers were made more than $20 or $30 an hour. I completely agree. Right. So the important point here is demonstrating here on your profile that you are a great teacher, because otherwise no one is going to believe it. Okay. Is the CTA okay for a YouTube video, or is this just on LinkedIn? A CTA, my rule with marketing and content is every single piece of content should have a call to action at the end of it, but every call to action doesn't need to be selling something. So the reality is, if you try to sell something, anytime you try to sell something to your audience, you lose a little bit of goodwill. So that means the majority of time on social media, your call to action, it should be to, grow your following. So for example, hey, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, remember to ring the bell on my profile so you get a notification each time I post. I'm not on YouTube, but on YouTube, it could be subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll stay notified about my new videos. So yeah, that will work well. On your profile, the reason we're using a more direct call to action here is because if someone has taken all the time to read your entire about section, we can assume a reasonable degree of interest in your coaching. So it's logical to ask them to message you to learn more about it. Okay. So some wonderful, wonderful questions there. I want to give you guys a quick challenge again. You ready? Okay. This time I've got a prize for the winner. So I was under a bit of pressure. I wanted to keep this to 30 minutes. I'm not too sure how I've done. Hopefully I've done okay here. Yeah. Now, I've tried to share some of the most valuable things I've learned here, but I've put together a PDF with more tips, with more examples, specifically for online teachers. So I'm going to throw out a few questions, all right? And whoever I see getting the most right answers here, I'm going to send you a copy of this guide for free. Are you ready? Awesome. Okay, Sean says, cheers. It makes sense. Wonderful. Who said born ready? James. Okay, James, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be paying attention to your answers. Okay, let's see. William says, go, Robbie. Yes. Hey, William. It's good to see you. Okay, let's do this. All right. So true or false, guys? All right. Here's the rule. Okay. You must write the full word in the chat. Okay. So get your fingers warmed up. You've got to write the full word true or the full word false. Let's go. Here's number one. Your LinkedIn profile should be written about you. True or false? Good. Who got there first? Wow, Laurel, right out. Right, you must have had it already typed out there. That was fantastic. Yeah, false. Your LinkedIn profile is for you, but every word, image, sentence is crafted to speak to our ideal students, so we can show we understand them, and so we can demonstrate why our service is worth paying a premium amount for. Very good. Your banner should mention the goal or underlying motivation of your students. True. Yeah, you said banner here. It could be headline either, but either in your banner or headline, you should touch on the reason your students are learning English, the underlying motivation, right? If they're going to pay you $50, $60, $100 an hour, they're probably not just learning for fun, right? It's something they need to do so they can get that real thing they want. Very good. Okay, awesome. Your students' main goal is better English. Kind of already answered this one. Yeah, false. Yeah, as a niche teacher, as someone who wants to break through that price threshold. No, right? The main goal is the thing Better English allows them to accomplish. Okay, and that's what really makes your service valuable. You can use your banner to build social proof, right? Bonus point. If this is true, how? You can use your banner to build social proof. Good, true, true, true. Samuel says true with pictures. Well done, Samuel. Brilliant. Yeah, pictures. Okay, awesome. And yeah, of course, just if there are students' faces visible, just make sure you've got permission to use those pictures. It's okay to share your story in your about section. It's okay to talk about your story. True or false? True, 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 true. A bit true. Okay, yeah, it is true. But this is the first thing we should talk about, or we should start by talking about our students. Yeah, our students. Good, good, good. Remember, yeah, start by them, demonstrate your understanding, and then they're going to be much more engaged and much more interested in hearing about your story and your reason for doing what you're doing. Fantastic. Your about section should not end with a call to action. False. Yeah, good, good, good. It should absolutely end with a call to action. But again, we don't want any hard selling here or mention of big prices. Just, hey, if you're interested, I've got a couple of space next month to work with some clients. Message me the word blah, and I'll send you all the information. Okay, nice, easy to act upon call to action. And then you can pivot to a private conversation. Whew, fantastic, guys. It's really, really difficult to for me to pick a winner there. And the engagement was amazing. The comments were flying in. So I think really the only solution here, I'm just gonna put the link. Tamara says, pick me. Brilliant. Yeah, so I'm gonna just share the link with everybody, okay? And you guys can go, you can download the guide there. It's completely free. All right. So yeah, there's a few more examples, a few more tips in there that I believe will be helpful for you guys. All right, fantastic. All right, let me just wrap this up with some final thoughts. I'm afraid to look at the time because I really did promise the team I would keep this short. So yeah, all roads lead back to your profile. Okay. And what I mean by this is all of your activity on LinkedIn, right? Your comments, your content. If it creates a bit of curiosity or interest, people are going to go back to your profile, and then your profile has the power to either attract the right students or repel them, right? So we want to make sure everything there is crafted to speak to them. It's the foundation of your business. When we get it right, you give yourself the strongest possible foundation to build your teaching business on. Thank you so much for your attention. There's 226 of you here listening to me. I do not take that for granted. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm rooting for you. James is going to share my LinkedIn with you. So yeah, don't be a stranger. Connect over there, and really, really looking forward to supporting you on this journey. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it back now to either James or Steffi, and yeah, hey.
I love the challenge, Robbie. I love the challenge. It was such a good energy.
It's something I used to always do quizzes with my program for my students, and yeah, it's something. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's a good way,
Yes.
just in case anyone's falling asleep. It's a good way to bring people back in, I find. So yeah, it's
People
also a lot of fun.
seem to be quite awake, Robbie. Yeah, there were a lot of comments. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I think we did it. I think we did an okay job for 30 minutes. So yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much, Robbie, for showing us what we should put on our LinkedIn profile for our LinkedIn profile to really resonate with our potential students. And there were some people who are asking, but how is this going to help us get these students at the $100 per hour? So having the right LinkedIn profile is just the first step. And then what things you have to do with your profile or on LinkedIn, I'm going to share that with you right now. So are you ready for that? Are you ready to hear and see what actions you should take on LinkedIn? Who is ready? Yes, people are ready. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share that with you straight away so that you can see what you need to do on LinkedIn to get this $100 per hour and more. Okay, so just let me know if you can see my screen right now. Can you see it clearly? Yes, you can. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. So the title is Turning a $100 per hour fairy tale into reality on LinkedIn. Let me just share with you the agenda. for these 30 minutes. So we are going to discover the specific, or you're going to discover the specific actions teachers need to take on LinkedIn to find students. The second one, learn the formula for earning $100 per hour on LinkedIn as a teacher. And the third one is to hear about some challenges teacher entrepreneurs face on their journey. And I'm going to share mine as well that I had as a teacher entrepreneur. But before we start all of this, I just wanted to ask you if you are ready to hear a fairy tale. Who is ready to hear a fairy tale? Or maybe when was the last time you've heard a fairy tale? And what was it about? Just let me know. Okay, so I can see your comments. People are ready for the fairy tale. Shrek. James saying Shrek, Rumi stories. Okay. So this is a fairy tale that has my story in it, and I hope I will introduce myself enough through this. But then at the same time, I feel like many teachers will find themselves in this fairy tale. I don't know if fortunately or unfortunately, but you will decide. So if we are ready, let's just start. Once upon a time, there was a baby teacher called Steffi. Even as a kid, she loved pretending to be a teacher. She would gather her siblings and the kids from the neighborhood and create a classroom where she taught all sorts of things. While they would get tired quickly, she could go for hours, fueled by her passion for teaching. Despite studying translation and interpreting as an adult, her genuine love for teaching persisted. Consequently, she made the deliberate choice to pursue a career in education, following the path that truly resonated with her heart. She became an ESL teacher. At the beginning of her teaching journey, she was brimming with enthusiasm, envisioning this as an idyllic career. However, as time went on, the one cherished title of teacher gradually transformed into a term that carried negative connotations for her, and all her hopes drifted away like balloons disappearing into the sky. Regrettably, she found herself disheartened by the harsh realities of the profession. She was underrated. Her hourly rate was $15 per hour. Uninspired as a general English teacher, teaching everybody, but nobody properly. And undervalued for being a non-native English teacher. She reached a point where she knew she couldn't continue on the same path. She had enough. She wanted to find a way to combine her teaching skills and passion while also being better paid and respected as a non-native English teacher. As it goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So 4 years ago, an opportunity presented itself when James approached her. Intrigued by the offer, she said yes and decided to enroll in the transformative 20-Monday Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge. Little did she know that this decision would take her career to a whole new level of success and growth. She became an empowered teacher entrepreneur. And as a special bonus in the 20-Monday Challenge, she received something extra, a magical box. Inside that box were 3 magical nuts, each with the power to make her dreams come true. So she started cracking them open. She cracked the first nut and boom, she was making $50 an hour. Then she cracked the second nut and boom, $80 an hour. Excited, she cracked the third nut and suddenly she was charging $100 an hour. It was like a dream come true. And just like that, she was living happily ever after until she realized she was out of nuts. And that's the end of the fairy tale. Okay, that was the fairy tale. Now, I would like to hear from you. What did you think about this fairy tale? Like, your honest. Papalushka, Alison is saying, I love this story. Yeah, it was kind of a combination of different stories, but Papalushka was my main actually inspiration. Okay. Great. So the question is now for all of you, very hard to believe, like most fairy tales, I'm afraid. I love this, Sarah, what you said. Having this thing so catchy for students, shown that was so good and it resonates deeply within. Okay. Laurel, where can I find those nuts? So let me just tell you the truth right now, okay? So as every fairy tale, there are kind of true things and then things which are a little bit like lovey-dovey. They are not as, as positive as lovey-dovey as they sound when we hear that fairy tale. So potentially when I ask you too good to be true, you may say, yes, that sounds too good to be true. So I just want to explain to you right now and actually turn this fairy tale 100 per hour LinkedIn fairy tale into reality. So saying that, a lot of that story was actually true. And I'm going to tell you right now what was true and where I didn't really explain everything in detail. And I think you should know the detail because the detail actually matters the most. So let me just start and retell the story in a way, but I will be speaking now in the first person and directly to you. So yes, it does all start with the status quo. So where are we right now? Are you happy with the conditions you are working in? Maybe who you teach, how you teach, the freedom you have as a teacher. So that's where you are right now, your present situation. And let me just explain to you, because that was the word mentioned, another lucky teacher entrepreneur. So I just want to expand on this word luck, what it actually entails when we say, oh, you're lucky to be earning $100 per hour. That's not for me, that's just for some teachers. We have this present situation, and then for us to even get to this kind of state where we are lucky or we see this radical difference. And again, I was charging $15 per hour, and then I went all the way to $100 per hour. But let me just tell you where it actually started. So if there is any change, it starts with preparation and attitude. My status quo before, when I was a teacher, like 5 years ago and there, I was actually complaining a lot, and I felt like a victim of the school system, of the school where I was, of the students, or of the fact that I was born as a Slovak. So I was no native English teacher, and I was kind of blaming everyone and everything around me. And I didn't really take responsibility for my situation. And I was just thinking that way. And then when I mentioned here preparation and attitude, this is when you cannot say enough. I want to take responsibility for my life, for what I want in my life. So this preparation and attitude is not just physical action that you take if you want to see a change. In my case, the physical action was that actually I did have a LinkedIn profile before I became a teacher entrepreneur, because I already saw LinkedIn is the place where I'm going to maybe charge more. I didn't know how to find students, but I just knew LinkedIn can be a good place. So I was already preparing in that way. My LinkedIn was not looking well, but at least I had the LinkedIn profile and I was randomly connecting with random people, honestly. So that's the physical thing, what you're doing. You're kind of already doing some things like updating your LinkedIn profile. But then there is this kind of mindset and mental things you're doing as well. Before, I was just kind of complaining about the situation I was in. But then when I said enough is enough, and I started to dream what I would love to have instead. And as Robbie mentioned, he just loved the idea to travel and to have freedom in his life. And that's what I was actually thinking about when I was going from school almost every other day. Like, I would love to join Tai Chi, because there was this free Tai Chi in the park at 9 a.m. every morning. And I had to teach from 8:30. So there is no way I could attend this Tai Chi session in the park. And I just said, like, I want to get to a position as a teacher where I can go for a yoga lesson or Pilates or dancing during the day. Or I can just take my best friends and my family for a nice trip to Paris, and I can just pay for their expenses, for their flight tickets. Because at that time, I was hardly paying for my bills in London just to survive there. So this preparation and attitude was already starting before I even became a teacher entrepreneur. So I was preparing myself mentally and physically as well with this LinkedIn. And then the level you are at, or the level you think at and feel at, you're going to attract opportunities. Now, if I hadn't had my LinkedIn profile, James wouldn't have found me, because he found me on LinkedIn and he sent potentially the same message that he sent to Robbie. Would you like to earn $100 per hour as a teacher? And I was, of course, yes, straight away. So there was this opportunity that I could still say no to, but of course I said yes, because that was aligned with my attitude that I was already preparing myself with for this, in a way, journey, although I didn't know at all what I need to do to become a teacher entrepreneur, but I said yes to this opportunity. Now, I say it to 21-day challenge, it started, and it wasn't actually easy at all. Those of you who did 21-day challenge, you can comment as well, like, do you think it's super easy? Because I don't think it was easy, the challenge. So there were a lot of things we had to do in terms of action taking, but not just in the 21-day challenge. I felt like the real challenge actually began at the end of the challenge, of the 21-day challenge. And I want to expand on this action, because that's what you want to know as well. What do you need to do on LinkedIn? What kind of action for you to earn $100 per hour? So I will expand on it just a little bit later, in a few minutes or seconds maybe. And then this is how kind of this leads to radical difference or radical change, and to kind of being lucky in a way to earn double more, triple more, or even $100 per hour and more. So that's the real journey. And I'm going to again expand on the actions you need to take and in what kind of attitude you have to be when you take these actions. But let me just read some comments, if there are any comments from you. Great. So I can see there are some comments with saying that 21-day challenge wasn't easy. And some people even say, like, I wasn't ready back then for it. Yes, that's a very good point. So exactly, like, this opportunity came for me, but potentially maybe James messaged me maybe even before, or I don't know, maybe I didn't see it. So I feel like when you are ready, the opportunity comes. And when you are not ready, that's okay. You know, another one will come maybe. Yes, the opportunity comes when we are ready. So let me just now explain this to you, and we will spend the next 10 to 15 minutes explaining how actually this is not about a fairy tale to earn $100 per hour on LinkedIn. It's just the compound effect of actions on LinkedIn. So these are the actions you take consistently on LinkedIn for you to get to this $100 per hour. And I'm going to be as honest as possible with you and tell you all the challenges I've been through as I go through this. So what I'm going to do, and the main thing will be to explain this, at least there will be five, five actions you have to take consistently every day on LinkedIn. So let me just start with the first one, which is send 20 connection requests. So these are the actions that become habits when you do them again and again. So once you have your LinkedIn ready, that Robbie already shared with you some tips, how you can prepare your LinkedIn, and you know what kind of students you want to help, what kind of group of students with what kind of problems, and your solutions you want to help them, you start sending 20 connection requests to those potential students. And that's something you do every day. So when I was starting, actually, I was doing it like 100 of them per day, because it was allowed back then. But then later, LinkedIn just had some restrictions, and we could just send 20, 30, or 40 per day. So this is something I was doing every single day. And I put here like a sun and kind of cloudy weather. So it doesn't matter if I was in a good mood, if I was in a bad mood, if I was super exhausted or super relaxed. This was my habit. I was consistent with this. This was my everyday LinkedIn action. Maybe I had 1 or 2 days off, like at the weekends, but not every single weekend. So this was the first one. Then the second one was respond to direct messages. So once you send these connection messages to your potential students, Many of them will connect with you, not all of them, but many of them. And then you need to have a habit or action of responding to those direct messages, because if you don't do it, then what is the point of even connecting with them? So responding to them means whatever they said back to you, and then you were just following up in those direct messages. So that was my second everyday LinkedIn action that I was doing no matter what. The third one was make 3 comments. And why is this important? So in the previous ones, you need to send connection messages to even make yourself visible and even present people with potentially what you do, or introduce them to kind of your services in a way. And then making these comments is for you to learn even more about your niche. So some of you were asking, but how do I research my kind of students that I want to work with? We can call them a niche. You can actually learn about them by reading what they write about on LinkedIn. And as you read their posts or even their comments, and then you comment back, that's how you start engaging with them. You learn more about them, you become more visible and even clearer about their needs, and they become clearer about what you can offer. So that was another habit, my everyday habit I had on LinkedIn. I was making 3 comments and sometimes even more. Another one was make 1 post. So by you making posts, you again share with your potential students what it would be like to work with you. They can see if you understand them, because the way you write your post, they will see like, okay, she does speak exactly to what I need or about what I need. And at the same time, later when people will go through your LinkedIn profile, they will see quite a lot of your posts. If you post every day or every, I don't know, 3 times a week, whatever you can, then people can see this portfolio of posts from you, and they will have an idea who you are or what you work like. Now, the next one is practice your sales skills. So once people start connecting with you, you respond to their messages, and they will ask you questions such as, okay, how can we work together? Or like, what exactly is in your program that you offer? And for that, I had to practice my skills. So there were other teacher entrepreneurs. They were part of this community I was in, and we practiced the sales skills together. So we were just having these mock strategy sessions together so that we are ready for our real students or potential real students. So that was another habit. And let me just share with you actually the last one. So it's 6 altogether, not 5, but this mindset practice, I feel like this is one of the most important ones. And I did find out about this one quite late, when I already felt like it's all about strategy, that I was actually following all these other actions. But mindset is the attitude you do everything in. So what attitude you have when you do all of these actions. And I learned it kind of hard way. I went through a lot of challenges. So imagine I was doing everything that you can see here, literally everything. I was just doing even more, like sending 100 messages, but everything else I was doing. And I got my first 3 students very quickly, and I tripled my rate. So I was charging $50, like 1 month after the challenge, actually 6 weeks after the challenge. But then I had like about 4 months or 5 months, I think, when I didn't get any new student, but I had more than 15 sales or sales sessions with the potential students. And I didn't convince them, or I didn't present my program in the right way to them, or maybe they were not ready. And actually there were 15 sales sessions I had, and I didn't convert anyone into my student. And it was very upsetting for me. So kind of like, I felt like, why did I get these first 3 students so quickly? And then there was this challenge. So I had many options. I could have just quit doing everything, because this took me at least 1 hour every day, potentially even 1 hour and a half, depending on the day. And I felt like I'm doing all of this, and now these 4 months, I have no new students. And so this mindset was very important. And I learned that as I was in other groups with other teachers and encouraging each other and keep doing with these actions. So this is where I actually understood that it's very important to do these everyday LinkedIn actions literally every day, despite you not seeing results straight away. And then what actually happened, I will just give you an example. This is just 1 year later. if you do all of this, this is how your teacher entrepreneur mindset is changing. And if you make, and I think I even said one post a working day, so you will have 261 posts in 1 year. You will have made 783 comments in 1 year. And then you will make at least 2,610 connections. So this is like assuming that 50% of people that you connect with will say yes to be in your network, right? So that was my 50% I said. Yeah, some people have even higher percentage. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? So imagine you do all of these things for 1 year, and how it's going to turn into making this many posts, comments, and connections in 1 year. Okay, so I'm just going to see your comments a little bit, and let me know, what do you think about this? Karina is saying, sounds like a lot of work, but feasible. So I really appreciate this. Amanda is saying, fantastic strategy. Okay, Amy, what groups should I join? So these will be very specific questions we may answer a little bit later, but my niche was psychology. So I was helping psychologists who wanted to have better communication skills with their English-speaking patients or clients they worked with. And there were certain ways on LinkedIn how I was filtering them. So I joined different groups, I joined different events, I was using specific filters to find them, and even reading specific posts from them to find them on LinkedIn. So that's how I found them. And then there was a question, how does this actually lead to exponential growth or effect? So actually, the way it works, if you do these 6 habits, so that's what I was doing. I'm sharing my journey with you and journey of many other teachers. When you just follow these habits, but not like for a month or 2 or 3, and then when it doesn't work, you stop. But I was literally doing it for a long time to get to where I got. And as I said, it was not always easy, because sometimes I just couldn't even find enough connections from that region I wanted to focus on. Sometimes I was not creative enough to make a post. I didn't know how to make the right post from the very beginning, so I had to learn that. Or even it was sometimes hard for me to comment below their posts, especially when they were quite specific about psychology and the terms I didn't understand. So there were a lot of obstacles for me, and especially the one was time, because I was a full-time teacher in a school, in a secondary school, where I was working about 7-8 hours, and I was commuting, so I was restricted. And it is true that there were days and weeks, and potentially months actually, when I was working 10 to 12 hours during the weekdays, just to do my full-time job and then this entrepreneurial thing. So it did take some time. I got to this $100 per hour after 18 months. There were some teachers who go there much faster. And there were some teachers who take a little bit longer than 18 months. So everybody's journey is different. But for actually 18 months, let's say before me getting to this $100 per hour, I was doing all of these actions pretty much without a break. Let me just read some comments from you. Ash is saying you just have to sacrifice free time if you have a full-time job. So Ash, that's a very good point. And I guess, unfortunately, this is how it was in my case, or maybe fortunately, because the reason when it says here mindset practice as well, I was quite clear about my goal, what I wanted. And because I was so excited and enthusiastic about my goal, what I wanted to achieve as a teacher entrepreneur, then it was a little bit easier for me to spend this free time doing this work. If I wasn't excited about this, or like if I didn't really want this change, then I don't think I would have spent this time doing this work. I would have rather watched Netflix, which is something I was doing before as a teacher. Yes, so if you have questions, please ask them in the Q&A section. And then as James is going to present another part, I'm going to answer every single question that was regarding my presentation. Stacy, so good question. How many students did you have at one time? So because I was having a full-time job for 1.5 years, approximately 16 months, I had 4 students the most at the same time. So I don't think it was a lot. There are teachers who have many more, but I just wanted to take it slowly. And I was actually in the secondary school, an assistant to psychologist, to educational psychologist. I was learning about my niche as I was in my full-time job. And I just felt like even 4 students at the time was actually quite a lot for me. Jane, why did you choose psychology as your niche? Psychologist as your niche? Do you have a background in psychology? So this is a good question. We will ask even other teachers, why did they choose their niche? But my answer is, yes, I chose psychologist. No, I don't have title in psychology and any background, but I was always fascinated about psychology. And actually, I wanted to become a psychologist myself, but I was discouraged by my school counselor to become a psychologist, but this passion was still in me. And that's why I felt like, let me just combine my 2 passions, which was psychology and languages. So I didn't know the terms and everything they were using, but I was fascinated about the field of psychology and about what they do as human beings, like how they help people with their mental health. So I learned as I went with this. Yes. Garrett, did the quality of your teaching improve in accordance with the exponential increase in the rate per hour? 100%, Garrett. But I have to say one thing, which I was kind of scared to do. I felt like, how on earth I'm going to charge $50 now in the challenge if I just have kind of like 2 weeks of knowledge or experience with work, knowing about psychologists. So I felt like this is kind of like too much. It's a big jump. But actually, to get to $50 per hour, it was just enough for me to niche myself down and to be committed. Like, I will do whatever it takes to help psychologists get the results they want to. So I was committed. And I thought to myself, I'm worth charging this money as a teacher. Because to be very true, this $50 per hour is not really per hour when you are starting. Maybe you will get here, or I got there after many, many months. Because this $50, you have to spend a lot of things to do. Like, you have to research, you have to find those students. But maybe after a few months, when you have a lot of systems in place, when you already have your slides ready, your program ready, that you're going to repeat with all the psychologists, then it is $50 per hour. But the first weeks and months, you need to do quite a few, like a lot of research. So that's why I can say, like, yes, I can earn $50 per hour because it's much more what I do for them. And then to get to $80 per hour, I definitely had to improve and learn more about psychologists, definitely. And then to get $100 per hour, that took me 18 months, as I said. And the first time when I charged it is when I invested myself in a program with a mindset coach that cost $10,000. That was my whole kind of money savings that I had as a teacher. And when I invested that money, $10,000, to learn more about my mindset, my brain, then like 2 weeks later, approximately, I had my first $100 per hour, because I felt like if I can invest that money in growing myself and developing myself, why can't my students? So that's how I got there. Okay, I think that's all from me for now. But let me just see if there are a few more comments. This was my presentation, and the very last actually formula I want to share with you. So I'm not a math teacher. If you're a math teacher, please correct me if this is not written in a right way. But basically what I want to say with this is that any radical change, if you want to get from, let's say, $10 per hour to 100, or even to 50, or even to double your rate, maybe for you it's already radical change. What is important to do is to do certain actions you are supposed to do consistently, and over time you will see this change. But it sounds kind of like very easy, but actually the hardest bit for me was, and for many teachers, is consistency, and then patience in terms of time, because everybody is clear about actions and everybody follows actions to start with, but then not many teachers follow it when they don't see results. And I feel like for me, that was the point where I felt like this is where I persisted with this action, and then that's why over time I saw the results. And by the way, this is the formula adjusted and it comes from Darren Hardy. I've read his books, and one of his book 3 times is the compound effect. So I felt like this is the best book I can use for this. So again, consistent actions over time have create this radical change. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time now and for your presence here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if there are any questions, I will keep answering them as James is going to come back and he will take over. So let me just see more questions from you. How can we find you on LinkedIn? A question from Dale. So I don't know, James, if we are going to share our profiles now or later. Can we share it now or?
Of course, you can definitely share your profile.
I will just share it.
With Robbie if you guys want to. And don't forget, so some people ask questions, you will receive the recording and stay to the end of this webinar. You're gonna receive the show up bonuses, 3 bonuses, and one of them is the slides, okay? So on the slide, there are a lot of links, right? And slides from all 3 of us, okay? So you don't have to take notes, just wait until the end. We're gonna share the show up bonus with you, okay? Yeah, so there are quite a few questions for you, Steffi, and in the Q&A tab, all right, if you want to take care of that.
I'm going to.
And also thank you for staying on time, okay? You did a much better job than me and Robbie, okay? All right, good. So I'll take over now. And Robbie, feel free to answer questions too, okay? Oh, good. All right. Awesome. All right. Okay, so we are in the middle of this webinar now. I think it's 1.5 hours in, so we're gonna take 1 minute break. Okay, 1 minute break, and we're running late a little bit. We're running late by maybe 10 minutes. So right now, depending on how much I can do with it, we're probably gonna start the panel session at like in 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes. In 40 minutes, okay, I'll be. No, it's gonna be late for 10 minutes, and then we still have enough time after that, for the panel session, and we can run over. If you guys can stay a little bit longer after the webinar, usually we run over for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because a lot of teachers want to chat, ask questions, and we can continue. And some of the panelists, if they want to stay, they can stay, just kind of answer questions. A lot of questions are very specific. So if you guys want to get answers from me, Robbie, and Steffi, make sure you use the Q&A tab. I know a lot of you guys ask questions in the chat, so you know how fast these comments gonna go. We probably wouldn't be able to see it. So if any of the questions you asked previously hasn't got answered, put them in the Q&A tab, and Robbie and Steffi gonna answer the questions. I was doing it myself a little bit as well. Okay, make sure you put your question in the Q&A tab. If you look at your bottom of your window, there's a Q&A. You click on that, type in your question. That's how you ask questions, okay? All right. So I'm gonna continue with the slides, okay? And let me ask you guys, right? So far so good, and how happy you are with the webinar so far. If you are happy, let us know you're happy. You can do an emoji, a thumb up, smiling face, anything that you can put down, like a heart. Just no, watermelon is good too. All right. So just want to know, like, you guys good. So 3 hours is a long time, right? I hope it's engaging enough. It's not boring. I think Robbie did a great job by having the quiz, having a lot of interaction with you guys, and Steffi did a good job too by sharing very personal story with you guys. And I have a lot of pressure now. I don't know, I'm gonna actually do a better job than them, but I'll do my best. Okay, I'll do my best to answer as many questions about niche teaching, about LinkedIn. But trust me, you will always have questions, because every answer I give you, that will get you more questions, okay? That's good, and we will have all the answers, but maybe not from the webinar itself, okay? So let me share my slides. I'm seeing a lot of emojis. Thank you so much for supporting me. I need to see that, okay? Rainbows, that's good. Hearts, smiling face, not boring at all. Good. All right, so cool. Thank you guys so much, okay? So niche teaching on LinkedIn. Robbie talked about LinkedIn profile and also talk about niche teaching a little bit. And Steffi is kind of going through the whole process, talk about things she does, and she, we actually ask our clients to do on LinkedIn. And but we haven't been like really focused on niche teaching. I want to talk about that because everyone can start a profile on LinkedIn and start marketing themselves. It wouldn't work. I can just tell you. I wouldn't say 99% of a chance. I would say 100% chance if you don't have a niche, it wouldn't work anymore. Okay, I'll just tell you that. Niche teaching is kind of the reason why teachers are getting students from LinkedIn, are getting students from anywhere online, niche teaching. Okay, I want to explain this and hopefully you can get more clarity on niche teaching. So what is niche teaching? This is my first question to you guys, right? There are different ways to look at it. If you want, try type in the chat, what is niche teaching to you? Like, what is niche teaching? If this is a new concept to you, take a guess. If you know about this, you took training from us, you know about, type your answers. I will see what you guys think about niche teaching. Niche teaching. Okay, 80, hi 80. Specific audience, specific topic, content grades. Samuel, having a specific group of people, specific learning goals. That's awesome. All right, that's very close to what I have. Nico, you're specialized in one segment of a subject, teaching that solves a specific problem. James, wow, a lot of really good answers. Graduates from our training, right? Down specialist subjects, focus on the specific audience, specific focus area, specific groups, such doctors, engineers, help students to find. Okay, I think a good marketing technique specialist. Good. Put your heart in the focus. Okay, there are a lot of answers. You already did that. So first of all, niche teaching is about teaching a particular group of students. I've seen a lot of people have that in their answer, right? But it's not complete. We also help them achieve their specific results. So that's what Robbie mentioned, the goals. This is important. I work with teachers. No, that's not my niche. I don't think all teachers gonna be from my niche because not every teacher wanted to get their students, wanted to be independent, wanted to start a business, right? I help teachers who want specific results and goals, the two components of it, okay? So niche teaching is about who you teach, a very specific group of students, and what results they like to achieve, okay? So that's two components. And just give you some examples, and these are teachers who are gonna come to our panel session, okay? Come to our panel session in 30 minutes. So Matt, I did an interview with him and I put a link to the interview on the bottom of the slide. So when you get the slides, you can click on the link and watch the interview I had with Matt. So to Matt, he helps football professionals. So that includes football coaches, analysts, players, all these people who are involved in the football field. Football coaches, soccer, okay, not American football professionals, the soccer professionals. And results. So what results these football professionals want? They want to have a professional English communication skills at work, so they can communicate better in English at work, right? So that's what the results. Not all the football professionals, but people who want that results. That's his niche. And Joy can come to the panel session as well. Who Spanish-speaking business professionals results business English communication at work. So similar topic with Matt, business English communication, but different group. Who is different? The results are similar, right? Another one, LZ, real estate professionals. We're talking about brokers, like real property managers, these people in the real estate industry, right? Results, close deals confidently with the international clients and investors, right? It's not just English, it's how they can use English, what results when they are better at English communication. That's for LZ, right? And Maria gonna come to the panel session too. So who is senior tech professionals? Senior tech professional, tech is like, IT or engineering, the technology industry, tech professionals, and what she does is business English communication and people skills. So kind of that's what she is working, towards and helping her group, like who, right? We had an interview with the Maria, and the link is on the bottom of the slides. Feel free to watch this interview with her, learn more about her stories about, her niche and teaching. So Carol, okay, Carol, who is classroom teachers in international schools, the teachers who need to speak English and to teach in a classroom setting in international schools. And what she does is helping them advance their teaching skills and English fluency, not just language, but also teaching skills. So that's what she does, and to help these teachers achieve. Okay. Another one, James Lever. So he worked with Chinese sales directors and managers to help them get international orders and improve sales and marketing skills. So basically what she does is sales skills, marketing skills in English, getting clients, presenting offers, getting international orders. That's what he does. And so James was supposed to come to the panel session today, but he couldn't make it. He actually made a video talking about his niche story, how he defined a niche and LinkedIn, all that. I put the video link on the bottom, so he wouldn't be able to join us today at the panel session. So Marie, which is the last one, Marie, she helps IT entrepreneurs. So like CEOs, directors, people starting a company, small business entrepreneurs, or senior directors, managers, C-suite people in IT company, IT industries, right? And helping them attract investors, funding customers, and expand globally. So that's what she does, Marie. Who and the results. So these are the examples. I just want to tell you, it's not only about who. I don't just work with IT entrepreneurs. The results, what the results you want. This is very important. If you relate to Robbie's session, right? The results is what you're gonna put, how you're gonna engage, and resonate with your audience, not just who, and also results. So this is niche teaching. Want to give some concepts. Defining your niche with the who and the result, just not just who. I wouldn't say, oh, I want to help them with better English. I think Robbie did a very good job explaining that, right? People don't learn English for English. There must be a reason, their goals, the results after they have better English, right? If you teach them not just language, other things, if you do math, you do like creative writing, whatever you do, there are a reason for them to do that. Either pass the exam, better grades, more university opportunities. There's always a reason for them to get better at what you teach them. So that is the results you want to focus on. So then the question will be, a lot of you guys already asked, right? Okay, I understand, but how come niche teaching allows teacher to charge over $100 an hour, while others struggle with charging even $15 an hour? Okay, we keep mentioning $100 an hour. That's what's happening and what's gonna happen to you too if you follow niche teaching, and why. So there are two reasons. There are actually more than two reasons. I just kind of want to summarize them into two reasons, and I want to explain this to you, okay? Two reasons. Number one, niche teaching enables teacher to get your own students online. Okay, not even mentioning how much you can charge. Niche teaching allows you to even get your own students online. A lot of you guys probably have tried to get your own students online, but you couldn't, right? Niche teaching actually allows you to do that to start with. So think about this, guys. Thousands of teachers and schools, companies, and platforms marketing their services online, getting students, regardless of what they do. There's so many companies, so many teachers are trying to get their students online. And students are exposed to this advertising from them every day through social media, email, text messages, everywhere. If I look at one of the teachers advertising, and Facebook gonna show me more. If I interact with anyone on Instagram, any teachers, I see so many teachers, like their posts, their videos, right? So that's what these students are exposed to, seeing all of these. And then when you are just another general teacher, you're just one of many that doing the same thing, another one of them, your advertising is buried among others. They wouldn't even click. They just see, oh, one other, another. They're the same teachers, right? And one analogy I always use is to really help you understand. Think about this, right? So let's say you're standing outside of a train station, like people coming out of the train station, right? So many people are coming out of the train station. And then you stand like on the side and say, hey, wave your hands and you say, hey, everyone, I'm here, I can help you. What people are gonna react to you? probably everyone will just ignore you, like what you're doing there, you're crazy, right? Everyone just like that. So they're not gonna hear you, they're not gonna listen to you. But if you can call them out, you say, hey, James. No, if someone named James in the crowd, they were like, hey, are you calling me? Are you talking to me? No, that's the reaction. You need to call them out. And that's how your message, your marketing, your advertising can be effective while all the others are buried among others, right? Think about this. Joy, no, one of the examples, right? So she worked with Spanish-speaking business professionals. If you just say, hey, students, I can teach you, compared to, hey, Spanish speakers, do you want to speak better English at work? Do you want to have more confidence communicating English, at work? Do you want to have the better job opportunity? So then you can start listening to them, right? Start listening to them. Same thing for Carol. Just say, hey, classroom teachers, right? Instead of, hey, everyone, hey, classroom teachers, do you worry about your teaching skills? Are you not happy with your English when you teach your students in English at your international schools? Are you looking for better job opportunities, better positions, right? So this is how people start listening to you. And same as, this Maria, hey, tech professionals, right? Instead of saying, hey, everyone, the tech professionals, tech engineer professional, tech professionals, do you want to have better English communication skills and people skills at work so you can, right, get promoted, you can get better job opportunities, right? So this is how it works when you really call them out, call these people out, instead of saying everyone. With niche teaching, you stand out, your voice is heard, and your advertising is seen. This allows you to get your own students online, while other general teachers either can't get any students or have to work for companies, schools, and platforms with ridiculously low rates. Okay, so I want to pause here. Just want to check on you guys. Does it make sense? I know it's like a very simple way to see it, but just not everyone understands it, how it works. You need to call them out. This is your niche, and that allows you even to be seen, to be heard. Anyone? Does it make sense to you guys? Does it make sense? Billy, makes sense. Everyone, Cynthia, great illustration. That's Cynthia, Tamara. Makes sense. Yes. So it's a very simple concept, but not everyone's doing it. Okay, there are always challenges, right? But that's how it works. It's not that you're working in your local community, you're the only teacher that does what you do in the whole community you serve. This 1,000 people, everyone know about you. It's not. You're moving online. Nobody knows about you. Nobody knows about you unless they see you, but no one can see you if you're just one of many general teachers. You have to have a niche so you can call them out. You can speak directly to them and they start listening to you. All right. So this is why teachers are not getting students. That's why niche teachers can get students, right, online. So the second one, back to this question, right? Why niche teaching can't allow teachers to charge even over $100 an hour? So niche teaching differentiates teachers so you can avoid the price war with all the general teachers, okay? So let me explain what it is. So right before this session, I did some quick searches on these platforms, italki, Verbally, Preply. I actually left the link on the slides as well. You can do your research as well. I am just seeing like $3, $9, $5, $8. The price war is real. Like these are the teachers, how much they charge right now, right? If you just same as them, if you take a look at their profile, the teachers have done like 4,000 licenses, 5,000 licenses. Their rate is a 5 out of 5, 4.7, 4.8 out of 5. They're great teachers. They're charging these rates, right? If you just another teacher, just like them, how can you compete? How can you compete? Or do you want to compete with the teachers on this platform? Just I left the links on the below these screenshots. Take a look at them. Okay, take a look at them. The price war is real. When teachers have to charge below $10 an hour, it's ridiculous to me. So how niche teaching helps with this? How niche teaching helps with this, right? Before I talk about niche teaching, another simple concept everyone agrees, everyone understands, right? If you just compare general practitioner and neurosurgeon, like they two, they're both doctors, but in your mind, like who will like have much higher rate? Probably gonna say neurosurgeon, right? If you're like, oh, they're specialists, they're like must be charging much, much more than general practitioners. That's our feeling. It's very natural. When I see a specialist, oh, this person, oh, Elsie, you only work with the real estate professionals. Oh, you work with me, not just English, but help me close deals, help me get international clients. You are the specialist to me. Of course, I need to pay you more, right? Even this happens, right? We have teachers, they have students work with teachers on these platforms at a very low rate, also paying them at a much higher rate because you are not even competing with the teachers on the platform. You are specialists, you have your own market. They don't even think of you as one of the general teachers they're paying on these platforms when they see that you are specialist to real estate professionals, right? To Chinese sales directors and managers. I'm not just an English teacher helping Chinese. I'm a specialist helping Chinese sales directors and managers. And that's how you can charge LZ 50 to 60 euros an hour right now. And James is at $80 an hour with the Chinese people. And so this is Marie at $80 an hour with IT professionals, and Matt 120 euros an hour. So this is what the reason people are paying you more. It's not like these students don't know they can find these teachers at much, much cheaper rates. It's not that they don't know. They know that, but they don't see you as one of the general teachers. They see you as a specialist. You're specifically for them. That's what you do, and you are helping them get their results, right? So there's so many more interviews we've done over the years. There's so many teachers in our community are charging over $100 an hour. I leave the link below. Check them out. So both happening. Teachers are charging $3, $4, $7, $10 an hour. Teachers are charging over $100 an hour. And which one do you want to go? Tell me, guys, which one do you want to follow? There are teachers charging $3, $4, $10 an hour. There are teachers charging over $100 an hour. Which one do you want to become? Do you want to become a general teacher, just same as all the other teachers, and compete with them? You can compete with them. They just have 4,000 lessons. They have 5-star, all 5 stars. Or you want to have your niche, become the specialist, so you can charge high premium rates. Which one do you want to be? Tell me, guys. General teacher or niche teacher? Yeah, so this is not, so maybe like 4 years, 5 years ago when I first started, I was like, a niche teaching is an option in addition to all the places you can work with. Right now, it's not just an option. It's not even an option. It's the must. Do you want to compete with teachers who are charging below $10 an hour, or you want to start your niche teaching so you can charge the rates that you deserve, right? So it's not even an option anymore. Okay, I've seen a lot of niche teachers, of course, right? Of course, niche teachers, niche teaching. Thank you guys for commenting, okay? All right, good. So basically not because they are much better teachers. I'm not saying these teachers I presented, they are like much better teachers. They have higher qualifications, so, they have masters or have PhDs. It's not. If you look at their profiles, a lot of teachers are not, in your understanding, like a lot of credibility, no, it's not. A lot of teachers actually start with nothing. Like LZ, like all the teachers, they when they first started, they don't even have an audience. They start with nothing. Okay, they build it up and slowly grow. And then because they follow niche teaching, right? And niche teaching works great on LinkedIn. So I kind of finished the niche teaching. I can spend probably 2-3 hours talking about niche teaching only. So I only have 30 minutes, and I already spent up to almost 20 minutes talking about niche teaching. Okay, so there's so much more about niche teaching, but I want to really help you understand this is the future. This is the way it's gonna work for teachers who don't want to charge the ridiculous low rates online. Okay, niche teaching works great on LinkedIn. Let's take a look at that. So LinkedIn, we have been talking about LinkedIn for the whole webinar now. and probably have some understanding. Robbie did a good job with the profile, and Steffi already walked you through things that you can do on LinkedIn. So to me, why niche teaching works great on LinkedIn? So I was think about it myself. I kind of came down to these 3 reasons. All right, explain it to you one by one. So the first one, LinkedIn is a very professional place. It has a professional environment. So LinkedIn users tend to be more respectful and friendly, unlike this on some other social media platforms. So I don't want to name them, right? There are social media platforms where they're not very professional. And why this helps? Think about having a new niche, guys. Now think about I'm starting a niche teaching, a niche. You're not going to be very comfortable with people from the niche. You're not going to be confident in working with them yet. So being in a very professional environment, it makes it easier for niche teachers, for you to reach out to them, even when you're not very comfortable with your niche yet, because these people are so nice, they help you. That's what Robbie and Steffi mentioned, like engage with them, and they're very nice to give you feedback and help you understand. So this is why it's much easier to start on LinkedIn as a niche teacher, because of the environment is very professional. So number 2 is more committed students. So this is not just me saying it, okay? This is the feedback I've got from so many teachers who are on LinkedIn. The professional nature of LinkedIn attracts individuals who are more committed and motivated compared to those on other platforms. So this makes it easier for niche teaching to charge higher rates, as students are more willing to invest in their personal development. It's their mindset, it's how they see investment, how they see the growth. A lot of people just say, hey, I want to work with you because I want to invest in my future. That's how usually students see on LinkedIn compared to other platforms. This is number 2. Number 3, this is the part I like the most. So LinkedIn, very unique part of it is it has the filters. It has filters on LinkedIn that allow you to easily find your niche based on their job title, industry, company, school, language, all the different things, and make it easier for you as a niche teacher to find them. Now, all these examples, right? Real estate professionals with LZ, tech professionals, IT entrepreneurs, you can easily find them with LinkedIn. So some of you might ask questions. So I have these 3 popular ways. That's what we usually ask our client to start with. I will quickly share with you how you use LinkedIn filters or the methods to find your niche, right? So the first one is X Research. So the first 2 are free. Some of you probably, oh, you have to pay for the filter. Yes, but there are workarounds. X Research is great. I have the link on the bottom of this page if you want to check on the link. So this one is a workaround to use the filters, but use Google filters to find people on LinkedIn, right? It has fewer filters like job titles or keywords and education, all of the different things. It should be enough for many of the niches, right? This is one, X Research. Another one, Groups. Group is a great place because once you join this group, you can see all the members in the group, and group tells you who are in the group, right? For example, I did a quick search on retail Italy. So if you work with the retail people in the retail industry in Italy, you can find these groups, and these people are very likely they are in Italy, they are in retail, right? You can connect with them. The second way. The third way, of course, with filters, is very powerful filters. You can see all these filters, right? Location, current company, past company, school they graduated, industry, and keywords like a first name, last name, and title, company, school. There's so many things you can use to find people from your niche, okay? So, of course, there are more ways. I only list 3. There are at least another 3-4 ways of connecting on LinkedIn. So just want to show you some free ways and some good ways to connect with your niche on LinkedIn. All right. So to summarize, guys, niche teaching leads to $100, over $100 an hour. Why? Number 1, I share with you, it enables teacher to get your own students online. Number 2, it differentiates you so you can avoid the price war, and the students stop thinking you as one of the teachers they can easily find at a lower price. They see you as different one. You're a specialist. Of course, that justifies a higher rate. So these 2 are super, super important for you to understand. Niche teaching allows you to get students. Niche teaching will help you justify a higher rate. Okay, so this is number 1. We talk about niche teaching. And then we talk about niche teaching works great on LinkedIn, the professional environment, right? Help niche teachers get started. So people are not gonna criticize you that much. I mean, yes, you might get, but it's not as bad as other platforms. And the people are more generally professional because here's the thing, they have a pressure. They don't want to mess up their LinkedIn because all their colleagues, all these people they connect on LinkedIn are very valuable. So they behave okay on LinkedIn, but not like other platforms. Okay. So more committed students pay niche teachers higher rates. So they're more committed, they know, they understand, they value investment, they value their personal growth, right? And number three, powerful search methods help you easily find your niche students. So these are the three. So before I move on to the next part, all makes sense, guys. Not all makes sense so far. Niche teaching, I know I could spend a bit more time on niche teaching. I know I could talk more about LinkedIn, but there's so much more I can talk.
The challenge, right? Or I want to join the, not sure, but Rizvana, great. And Matthew is here. Hey, Matt.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, where are you right now, Matt?
Sorry, say that again?
Which country are you in right now?
France. I live in France.
Okay. And Ilse, enjoy. Thank you so much. And sorry for waiting. We are a little bit delayed right now. And Ilse, you are in your house, right? Because you travel every single week somewhere else. But I guess this is your background.
Yeah.
House background. Yeah. You're painting, Ilse. This is your painting, right? The one
Yes.
behind. Yeah. Beautiful one. And Joy, you are in Spain or somewhere else?
I'm back in Spain now. I got back from the UK a couple of days ago.
Okay, great.
Yeah, back to the heat.
Okay, back to the heat. Yeah, in Slovakia, it's the same right now.
Mhm.
Nice to have you here, Joy. And Marie, where are you, Marie?
Hi, I'm in Virginia.
Virginia. Is it hot there or is it okay?
Today it's hot. Yes, it's hot today.
Okay, nice to have you here. And Carol,
Hi,
where are you right now, Carol? Where are you?
and I'm in Canada, in Manitoba, Canada.
Canada. Okay, great. Good. So we've got everyone. Is it everyone, James, now?
Yeah, I think Marie, I couldn't find Marie, Maria.
Blaženova?
Yeah,
She's
I
joining.
think she's gonna be late, right? She's actually gonna be late.
She's joining 10 minutes late, so she's
Okay.
yes.
All right. So yeah, very quickly, guys. A lot of people already joined the challenge. If you have any questions, please let us know. All right, let us know in the chat. And just so you know, everyone who joined the challenge during the webinar, we will send you the link to book the 30-minute session with me. So you won't receive it in the email confirmation. I'll email you. Okay. If you don't hear from us, like by Friday, you can email us back. I will try to email everyone who joined during the webinar with a link, okay? Because this is not for everyone, all right? So good. Welcome everyone to the panel. So just very quickly, so what we're gonna do with the panel, okay? So I have 2 questions. I already told you guys 2 questions. I'm gonna share that with you. So these 2 questions, okay? And of course, there are gonna be more questions from the audience. And so basically, we're gonna start with the first one, okay? Then we're gonna move on to the second one. We're gonna start first one with everyone. Just so I think a lot of people are gonna be curious about the story behind your niche, because defining a niche or finding a niche is the biggest challenge to many teachers who are starting. So I want you guys to probably repeat a little bit your niche. What is it? I already explained it during the presentation, but if you want to repeat a little bit, and you can tell us about how you define a niche, or how do you feel? So either one, how do you decide it? There's like a story, or what's the relationship, why? And then if you want, you can also talk about how do you feel about your niche. I guess we can give like maybe 2 minutes each one. Is that enough? Steffi, what do you think?
2 minutes for just telling the story behind your
The
niche.
story behind, you guys feel
Yes.
like it's enough?
Yes. I think let's have it as a challenge. Maybe in
2 minutes, yeah, it's okay if you go over 30 seconds. Robbie and myself went over anyway, so. All right.
Okay, great. Good. So we have this question. So let's just start. Who do we start with? Who wants to start, actually? Let's just give the first person the choice, and then we will be just choosing.
Let me start.
Carol, please.
No, I can be quick. Choosing my niche, which was classroom teachers and educators who are in international schools. And that was an easy choice for me because I had spent my career before I retired from full-time work. I was a teacher and then an education consultant. And in that role, I got all kinds of training and professional development. I was sent to a conference, international or national, every year. So that's what I love. Just like Robbie, that's education is my area. And finding out about international schools and I had to learn about that. But no, that's my story. That's why I chose teaching teachers in international schools.
Thank you, Carol. And how do you feel about your niche now? Do you feel
I
different?
love it. I love it. I've learned so much also from them, and it's easy to keep current because I'm learning all the time from my clients. And also, you know, when you're working part-time, which is what I am, then you have time to read the latest book or experiment with the latest tools. And so, no, I love it. I'm very happy. It's wonderful working with them.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. And passion speaks through you. We can see that. We can feel that. That was Carol. Joy, what about you? What was your journey of defining your niche?
Yeah, well, it was like Carolina, it was a natural progression because after I finished my degree, I came to Spain. I met my husband, so I got trapped and started teaching Spaniards. And after COVID, that went to online classes, and I was working for lots of business platforms and teaching their syllabus, and it was all general English. And I just had this feeling that I was really kind of wasting their time sometimes because they were so busy and the content often wasn't relevant to what they needed. So it just led me to sort of start thinking about developing my own courses. And then I got the magic email from James one day in my LinkedIn saying, like, you want to earn 100 euros an hour like you did. And I was, you know, I was just like, this is so interesting. Maybe it can become reality, you know? And so it was a natural progression because obviously I speak Spanish. I know the issues that Spaniards have problems with. I've got lots of experience with that. So I felt already confident that I would know what I would do in my classes, you know? So that's how I started initially, yeah.
Great. And how do you feel about your niche today?
So I have been up and down with it. I focused initially on engineers and then Spanish-speaking engineers because I felt comfortable because I've been working with lots of them. Then after some time on LinkedIn, I started getting contacted by non-engineer professionals that needed help also because my posts hadn't been so specific to engineers. I'd been like targeting Spanish speaking professionals with my wording. I hadn't been like thoughtful about how I was doing it because there's so much you need to learn and I'm still very much learning, you know? So I feel like it's still developing my niche, but I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm feeling more confident and yeah, it's a great journey.
Yes. And Joy, how long have you been doing this? Can you just remind us how
8
many
months.
months?
8 months.
8 months. So we can see
Yeah.
like teachers at different levels, you know, have different progress with their niche, and it's completely okay to adjust your niche, to niche down, or maybe even get broader. And as you said, you just have to study them, analyze them, and then
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. I feel like it's a real journey and it's evolving and you just have to keep adapting, you know?
Yeah, that's so true,
Yeah.
Joy. Thank you so
Mm.
much for this. Now let's just continue with Matt. And Matt, if you can mention as well how long you've been doing it so the teachers have an idea, actually.
Yeah, sure. So I did the 21-day challenge just under 3 years ago now, I think, roughly. I think it was about October 2021. My niche is football professionals, football meaning soccer for a lot of people out there, I think. My niche actually originally was football coaches, and very recently I've tried to expand it to include other people involved in football or soccer. I chose it very, very quickly, actually. I chose it, I think James mentioned talking about the 21-day challenge. In the first 3 days that he helps you define his niche, I think I picked it on the third day. And it was kind of just a James says in one of the videos, don't agonize over it, don't spend a long time. And he gave the example, I think, of a sports industry, and I just went football coaches, and just worked it and stuck with it. I really do enjoy it. I really enjoyed working with them. It's very interesting. I'm not a huge football fan. I'm a very casual fan, but it does actually make the sport a lot more interesting when you actually understand the intricacies of it and everything, which I have a much better understanding of now, and just the whole industry. And yeah, it's been very, very, very interesting, I think, and a good journey.
Yeah, I meant to ask you, Matt, if you actually enjoy football, if you play football yourself. So basically, you can help your niche, even though you don't kind of like enjoy football, right?
Yeah, well, I'm from Australia, and we in Australia, we actually call football soccer as well. And when I was growing up, it was not a popular sport in Australia. Today, it is a bit more. And yeah, no, like I said, I've lived in Europe for a long time, so I watch matches occasionally, but I've never been a huge fan. So no, it's not like this is like a passion of mine or something. It's something I have a passing interest in, basically.
Mm-hmm. Great, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Okay.
Let's just continue with Ilse and
Hi.
her story.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Because I have new
Yes.
computer, so I'm
Yes.
just all messing up.
I can clearly. Yes.
Yeah. My niche is real estate, and I also chose it during like 21-day challenge, and it was no-brainer because I have been in real estate for 20 years, and I'm still there because now I said that I have been on 6-week vacation because I don't consider I sold a couple of properties, so it doesn't feel like really working, and that's why for me it was very easy to choose it because I know niche upside down, but I have other challenges. I'm very easy with sales. I'm really now putting a lot of effort into going deeper into language coaching, taking up some certificates, because this is my challenge. Because sometimes clients tell me, but I feel like more like a real estate coach, though they're happy with my English training part, but I think I have to really go deeper into this part. So, but as talking to niche, it was very easy because I'm very passionate about it, and I know niche upside down, so it was very easy to choose for me.
Yes. Ilse, and how long have you been doing this?
I've been on and off, as because of
Yes.
different conditions.
But
And
I think we started
actually,
with-
we finished challenge together. It was like 4 years
we did.
ago.
We did, Ilse. I remember you were in July 2020.
Yeah,
Yes, during the COVID. Yep, I remember that. We were in
but I'm
this.
still here, hanging in
Yes,
and
you are,
loving
Ilse.
the
You're a
process.
perfect,
And
you're a perfect example of I never give up. That's it. I may have some breaks. I may go on a holiday. I may have some hiccups, but I am always back. So that's
no, because I like it. I like it. Really, it's
great.
worth
Great.
doing it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's
Then you
that's
have happy clients. You just keep going and yeah.
Yes. Ilse, that was Ilse, and now we have Marie. So last but not least, what was your story?
Hi.
Hi.
So my niche is actually IT professionals. That's what I started with. Just before I give you a little backstory, I would say I waited too long to pick it. I've done so many things in my life that I didn't pick it, like Matt said, within the first 3 days. And that's actually, I would say, go ahead, pick it within the first 3 days and pick one. I didn't completely understand that when you're messaging and working in LinkedIn, that the messages will pick you. So you just start messaging people, and then those people will find you, almost like match with you, and then you can switch later. So I would say IT. I've been teaching for over 20 years, specifically online for 10 years, over 10 years. And at that time, it was mostly IT engineers that showed up. And I started a 21-day challenge. I think I might have been in the first or second group years ago. Yeah, a really long time ago, years ago. And I would say there have been opportunities to go back and even review and go over the information. And there's always something inside of there. So I started a long time ago, and then even sometimes go back and look at some of the things that are going on and like, oh yeah, that's so good. It's a wealth of knowledge. And if you're on the fence about it, I would say just go ahead and do it because there's so much in there. It's really good. And I absolutely enjoy what I do. I don't have a classroom full of students who may or may not want to pay attention. They're individuals who show up because they need something and they want to learn. And it is very motivating. I enjoy it every day.
Yeah, Marie, thank you so much. And I guess everybody mentioned like I'm still learning about my niche. So there are some people who've been doing it for more than 4 years, and you're still learning about your niche. So it's a journey. And what Marie said as well, and I agree with that. You just sometimes need to make a decision, and it's okay to change it later about your niche. The worst thing is not to make any decision, right? And think about it for a long time, which happens to all of us, I guess. But yeah, that was great. Thank you,
Yeah,
Marie.
so Steffi,
James?
I need to say something about this. I learned from Jacqueline, Angelique yesterday, and she told me, and she learned it from somebody else. Okay, so when it comes to at first, all of you guys, right? When it comes to defining your niche at first, so you need to be very clear with the two concepts: options and the decision. So when you try to define your niche, decide your niche at first, you are looking at options. You are not making the decision. So that means if you look at the options, then it will tell you you can try these options and then make a decision. But too many teachers try to make a decision when they first try to define a niche. So think about this. So what you are really doing here is to explore these options instead of making decision. I feel like that was really a good way to kind of explain that. So that takes all the pressure. I'm not making decision. I'm exploring options. Okay, I hope that helped you guys. Okay, this is really, I found very helpful. And also quite a lot of teachers stand up to the 21 challenge. I want to quickly answer some questions that I'm seeing. So first of all, the course, the 21 challenge, you're gonna watch pre-recorded videos. So that give you the flexibility. You can watch the videos whenever you want. We do have these 4 live sessions, a special offer for the September challenge. And even if you cannot join live, you're gonna get recordings, okay? So all these questions are important, but as I said, we've been doing this for 4 years, the 21 challenge. So if we say we have 30-day money back guarantee, there's gonna be a 30-day money back guarantee. So you don't need to figure out all these answers, okay? So just give it a try. And then if you do think it helps you, just let us know, we'll refund you, okay? Don't worry about it. Yep, I welcome all these people, all the teachers who joined the challenge. I'll give it back to Steffi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, James. Robert, do you have any takeaways, or maybe you want to share your kind of journey, how you chose this, your niche? That was about 3.5 years ago, probably.
Yeah, sure. So it's really, really cool to hear everybody's stories, and I can definitely relate to different aspects. And I know if you've done the challenge, you know it feels like there's a lot of pressure at the beginning. Okay, I need to choose my niche now. And then we can fall into the trap of thinking, okay, it's set in stone forever. So whatever I choose now, that's locked in. So if I make a good choice, amazing. If I make a bad choice, there's no going back. And what James said there, I think is totally correct. You know, arriving at your niche, it's not one decision in one moment. It can actually be a series of iterations. And you said, Steffi, like the most important thing is to do something, to take action. So in my case, when I did the 21-day challenge in December 2020, and I was in week 1 and it was about the niche, I remember speaking to my housemate at the time, and he was working in tech. And I was explaining, hey, I'm thinking about a niche, but you know, the classes are going to be more expensive. And he said, okay, we'll go for tech because, you know, the industry right now, it's booming during the lockdowns, you know, there's a strong need. So I was like, okay, cool. Makes sense. All right. People are interested. People have money. Perfect. Now, of course, the big problem was I know nothing about tech and I knew nothing about that industry. So when it became time to, you know, set up my LinkedIn profile and think of content to post, it was really, really difficult because I didn't really have a connection point with the audience. Now, of course, I could have done research and I could have filled the gaps in my knowledge, but I kind of went back and I asked myself, okay, who am I most passionate about working with? And as you guys know, I used to be a teacher in Dublin, and the majority of my students, they were upper intermediate and advanced level Brazilians. There's a really big Brazilian community in Ireland, and I loved working with them. I had a fantastic time working with that level. So I thought, okay, I love working with these guys. Okay, but where's the need? So I thought about, okay, how can I now move forward with this? Brazilians, they need English communication skills. So in Ireland at the time, I noticed from a lot of students I had spoken to that they had a lot of qualifications, they had a lot of technical experience and expertise, but when they moved to Ireland, English was the thing. It was the missing ingredient actually stopping them from getting a job in their area. So they needed to work in retail or do, these other types of jobs. So I really positioned myself, okay, I'm going to be the guy for Brazilians who have lots of experience, who have great technical skills, who are successful in their careers. But right now, English is the thing that's actually stopping them from progressing in their careers. So the cool thing about LinkedIn was I was able to use the filters to focus on connecting with Brazilians based in Ireland or based in the US and other English speaking countries. And thankfully things kind of started to get a bit of traction from there because, okay, I had my previous teaching experience. People could sense I was passionate. So, they could feel I was authentic and things started moving forward. So to bring it all back to a takeaway, I needed to make a wrong decision before I got to the right decision. And I didn't arrive at my niche overnight. It took some time. It took probably a couple of months before I really kind of earned it out. But yeah, so anyone who's kind of hesitating now and like thinking a niche and you're not sure, take action. Start with, okay, who am I most passionate about working with, and just go from there. You're going to make mistakes, but those mistakes are going to help you arrive. You're going to go through those iterations and eventually you're going to find the sweet spot.
Thank you, Rob. It's actually kind of like bad decision in a way, or like bad decision is better than no decision at all, because this bad decision is going to take you to another decision you will make and another step you need to take. I really appreciate that. And actually you mentioned a few things about like how you wanted to find connection with your niche. And I feel like there are 4 questions really you ask yourself when you are choosing a niche. At least these questions help me. So I would just ask them. So the very first one is, am I passionate about this niche, or do I enjoy actually working with this niche? In a way, you don't have to be super passionate, but you have to have some kind of interest in this. Number 2 is, am I skilled enough, or am I willing to learn about this niche? I was passionate, but I wasn't skilled, but I was willing to learn about psychology and what I need. The third question is there a need for what I do in this niche? And if it's, what is the need? I'm willing to research that need. And number 4, are they willing to pay premium rates or higher rates this niche, right? And then that's a question as well, because they have to kind of afford to pay as well. Good. So let's just, this was just about niche, your story behind this. The second question is about LinkedIn. And now you're going to share either one thing that has helped you, one mistake you made, maybe with LinkedIn, and this way you will help others not to make the same mistake, or one thing you wish you had known when you first started. So that's all about LinkedIn. Okay, so these are the questions, and let's just start now with Ilse. She seems to be ready. Ilse.
I think one mistake. I mean, there are so many mistakes every day. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. If you don't learn, you don't progress. So it's just part of a process. It's the only way you can do things, really. And I think my biggest takeaway is, I think I have made all kinds of mistakes in all directions. I think the biggest learning is or takeaway is really, don't get stuck for too long. If you see that some things are not working, be brave enough, to try out and tweak all the time, this, because you grow, you understand more your niche, because you can't really solve the problems with the same kind of understanding. You have to really expand all the time. And I think that's kind of not very easy with trying things out, but in the beginning, I think I was maybe too stuck for too long to some certain things, how they should be done, or, let's do like this or that. I think I've become much more flexible and just trying. I think it's all about real trial and error. I think that's the only way to move ahead. And if you see something is not working, have a look at that. Really, with critical thinking, be fun. If nothing helps, take a glass of wine and, sit in the evening and watch it. No, I'm serious. Sometimes just, let's be honest, life is life. and ask your clients. I very often ask my clients feedback, what do you think? How does it look from your side? And that's the best feedback, really. Ask directly to your clients, please be honest about, my posts or my profile or my lessons. These are like, these are the best clients that become your friends. So really, all the time, kind of challenge yourself, but in a healthy and kind way. Don't have this negative talk in your head. Be kind, be nice, but still, next morning, do something about it. I think that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, thank you,
Still-
Ilse. And actually some people are commenting with their favorite types of wine. So you started a new conversation now. Okay, let's just go back to LinkedIn. I mean, we all like wine, but about LinkedIn. So what I wanted to say, what Ilse mentioned about experimenting and not just sticking to doing one thing, but trying to do different things. And this is what I feel I've learned about LinkedIn. So some people ask, do I have to have Sales Navigator for me to find my potential students? And I say you don't need to. You can use just a basic account. That's what I was using when I was working with my niche. And then I found out I was limited in how many profiles I could review. And I wasn't willing to pay. It was, I think, $70 per month at that time. So I was kind of experimenting. How else can I find my students without reviewing their profiles? And this is how I found out my way. And that was, I went through posts which had many likes, and those likes and comments were from my niche. So let's say it was something about psychology, and many psychologists, others liked that post and commented on that post. So in that way, I could see who liked that post, and I connected with everyone who liked that post. And I sent them this first message. I saw we both liked the post of this and this person, and I really like what they said about this. I would love to connect with you and see, how we can learn from each other. So that was my way, how I found out how else you can go around on LinkedIn, just because I was experimenting. So thank you so much, Ilse, for mentioning this. Let's just continue now with actually Marie. Marie, what is one thing about LinkedIn you would like to share? Maybe a mistake, something you've learned, something that helped you.
I would say mistake, yes, but trust the process, because everything that you need is actually inside of this kit and this process. So I think probably I was doing my own thing on the side and not following the instructions because maybe I didn't understand or I got a little creative. So I would say the process that you do by the time you go from start to finish is complete. And I kind of didn't understand the whole thing. And so I wasn't, that part I don't have time, I'm not going to do, or I need to perfect it and my posts need to be really awesome. And no, that was probably my mistake. Everything's there. You just need to do it, at least like when you're writing. If you're English teachers, you're writing, right? It's the first draft. Get it over with, get it done. And everything is in there. That's probably my biggest mistake. If I could go back and talk to myself years ago.
Thank you, Marie. Is there anybody else here? You can just chat yes, or who is a perfectionist, who feels like I'm not going to make a post until or unless it's perfect. I was that person. It took me 2 hours to make one post 4 years ago. Now I'm a little bit faster now, but yes. Okay, many people say yes, I used to be, or yes, I am.
If I can add, I think it's the biggest learning also, like better done than perfect, There's no such thing as, there's nothing perfect in this world except cats or, kids or something, Nothing on LinkedIn. You just better done than perfect. Like I do it now, like in 30 minutes and forget it. Just,
Yes, I remember, Ilse, after 3 months of doing this challenge, I was complaining to James, I still haven't made a video for my niche because I'm scared to death to present myself. And I don't know how to say what I do, why I do it, why I choose them as my niche. And I was just telling the things I want to say in the video. And he just said, just record your voice, your video. I just say hi to them. That's it. 5 seconds. Go with that. And this gave me kind of courage, like, okay, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to tell my full story. I can just say hi to them. And in the second one, I can say, hi, this is what I do. So just take it step by step and don't wait to be perfect. Now, Maria joined us. Maria couldn't join us before because she had a session. So Maria, nice to have you here. Maria is also another teacher entrepreneur who started 1 year ago, right? 1 year and 2 months ago, or 3 months. In June you started. Now, Maria, question to you, the story behind your niche. So how did you choose your niche? And how do you enjoy working with your niche today?
Oh, okay, of course. First of all, it's great to be here and to join you guys. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you all. Answering your question, actually, it was quite easy because I have always worked with tech professionals one way or another. And right now I work with tech professionals, like mainly, I would say. And but I also worked, I would say, with a variety of different professionals. And it was a bit, this variety was not always really good for me because I would I would need to cater to different needs and so on. So it was a bit complicated for me, I would say. But I mean, doable, but a little bit complicated. And at some point, actually, with your help, guys, thank you so much, I understood that this is actually a great idea that you can just niche down. And I love this example by James about neurosurgeon. I just keep this in mind right now all the time, and I give this example sometimes. So you kind of become like a neurosurgeon in the field and really go deeper into the needs and challenges of this particular group. And oh my God, I was like really surprised, how much you can learn and how much better you can serve these guys on a deeper level. And I would say it would kind of make a bigger impact, which is of course more satisfying. So yeah, and I honestly, it's been one of my best decisions to really like niche down and and embrace my beautiful tech professionals, because I have lots of relatives, my friends in this niche. I kind of feel at home here. So, so it was like super easy for me. So I'm like, yeah, super happy about that. Yeah.
Even today, Maria, you're happy even today after 1 year with your niche, yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Great, good. That's a good sign. You're in a good niche then.
And,
Thank you.
just to quickly add to that, I think the good thing and the beauty of niche teaching is, in order to become the neurosurgeon in your niche, you don't need to spend 10 years and hundreds of $1,000s to become one, right? Just spend, I think, I don't know if you guys agree with me, if you can stick to that niche for 1 year, you're gonna be like top 1%, even maybe more than that in your niche. Like just 1 year, releasing to your niche, understand them, and really committed to that. In 1 year, you can be the top 1%, at least top 1% of your niche.
Yeah, definitely, James. Yeah, and it doesn't have to take that long. And by the way, people are asking if you want to share your LinkedIn profile with them. So maybe you can, if you feel comfortable, all of you, as they would like to maybe follow you and see from your LinkedIn profile how you have progressed with your niche. Now, let's just continue with Carol. Actually, Carol, if you want to share one thing that you learned about LinkedIn, a mistake maybe you made, or something you wish you had known.
I find LinkedIn, I agree with what everyone has said. It's much more professional. It's than some of the other platforms in a way, and it's very supportive. And people are genuinely there to help each other, and it's not always about a sale. It's about supporting, and I've really liked that. And I have made many mistakes. I wanted to share with you something that I share with my students sometimes, is that FAIL, if you can take the word fail and consider that as first attempt in learning. And, it's just a way of moving forward. But I know one time I sent a message to someone without checking the profile well, and it turned out it was, not targeted to him at all. But he was very patient with me and said, "Have you had a look at my profile?" And explained, and very, very nice about it and courteous. I've dabbled in some of the other platforms as well, and it's definitely the Wild West out there, and a very different feel. So I very much prefer and spend most of my time on LinkedIn.
Yes, so first attempt in learning. Thank you, Carol. That's what FAIL stands for. That was Carol. Matt, what about you? What is one thing about LinkedIn you'd like to share?
Yeah, maybe something that I wish I understood a bit better when I first started using it is you don't have to be, you know, you don't have to be like a LinkedIn influencer to become successful on the platform. You don't need to have posts that go viral 2 or 3 times a week or anything like that. Even now, my posts now, you know, it's very typical. I might get a couple of dozens of likes, you know, like, woo, big numbers, right? But I remember noticing very early on, or maybe in the first year or so, that most of the clients that I worked with, they never like liked or commented anything on my posts. It would be other people usually. So, you know, even if you sometimes feel like you're making these posts, you know, to nobody, you know, people are watching and people can see what you're putting up there. So you don't need to have this, you know, this enormous influence on there. You know, I think has been mentioned already, the idea of just following the process, a lot of consistency, and, you know, keep trying to learn about your niche and you know, changing the messaging a bit more and getting a bit more accurate. And I think you keep doing that, even if you don't, you know, become this huge sort of famous LinkedIn personality, you'll still find success in your niche.
So you don't have to be a LinkedIn influencer for you to start or even to do this. But if you really do this post every day and you comment and you learn a lot about your niche, you may as well become an influencer without
It
wanting.
might happen for you. if that's something you're hoping for, yeah, it could happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. That was Matt. What about you, Joy? You're mute. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was muted there. Oh gosh, so many things, so many mistakes. I think probably like one of my biggest, most valuable lessons from the 21-day challenge was just to be okay with okay, because I had never been okay with okay. And when I did my first LinkedIn post, because we had to, because it was part of the challenge, like that was so far from what I would actually probably want to post, you know, because you just got to kind of get over yourself, you know, and put it out there. And like Matthew just said, I'm like absolutely delighted if I even get 10 likes, you know, like I'm still on small numbers, but I think people are noticing, and like you said, people are watching and just being consistent. I've had messages from people that, like, the people I want to target, they never like my posts either. But then I have had messages just sometimes just like, how can you help me? You know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person has seen me, you know, that really motivates you. But if you aren't consistent, then you won't get that. And also I can't remember who said it, just like follow the process. I'm also very creative and easily distracted and perhaps haven't followed the process so well. And I didn't do the niche commenting for probably about 3 months because I felt such an imposter because I'm working with engineers and I just didn't think my voice was important, you know? So again, I just had to get over that and just do it, you know, and just, you know, reflect some point from the post, you know. I was just, it's like a mind shift I had to make, you know? So I think that would be, if I could speak to myself in the first 21 days and slap myself around the face and just say, can you just like get a grip? Focus, you know, it's fine. It's not so important. You learn, you know. I think that's
okay. Follow the process, and we'll get there. Yeah, and do it consistently as well.
consistently, yeah, because that's like, I'm not naturally a consistent person, you know. It's you have to be disciplined and you have to plan and factor into your day and have processes, and that's what you learn on the 21-day challenge, you know, if you haven't been a businessy person before. So really valuable lessons.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for this honest sharing. We've got Maria. I guess Maria is the last. So Maria, something you've learned about LinkedIn. James, you wanted to say anything?
Yeah, just want to before we move on to Maria, we're gonna run over a little bit. If you guys want to stay with us, usually we run over by 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now feel free to stay with us. I just want to share the show up bonus with you. I know some of you are waiting for the show up bonus. I'll share that with you. So it's gonna be one link. When you click on it, you can save a copy of the document that has everything we promised you, the slides, the templates, and what the other thing, the post templates. Yep. So I'm gonna share that link with you. And don't worry if you missed it. Some of you gonna have to leave. We'll find your email and send it to you. Okay, after the session. The Zoom actually checks when did you all log in, when did you log out, how much time you stayed in the webinar. So we know okay who's staying. Okay, so we'll send it to you after the session if you just in case you don't get it. Okay. I'm gonna share the short bonus in the chat. Just one link, click on it, you will get everything from it. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, James. Yeah, and also like I want to ask everyone, if you have questions, please ask questions to these teachers while they are here because they will leave in a few minutes. So if you have any specific questions to them, just ask in the chat or in the Q&A section, actually. That's better, right, James? And let's just continue with Maria.
Sure. I think one of the best things that I learned, I'm basically like tech English communication coach. So it's really valuable when you get in front of your niche, in front of people in videos or lives, and you actually, you know, they can see you communicating, presenting. I love actually going live with my clients. So they also see I have clients, they are speaking there. Yes, they might be nervous, but still they can get over and they, I don't know, share their ideas and so on. So LinkedIn Lives is, I would say, one of the precious things right now that I have learned so far. But I started to get a lot of messages also from people when they would tell me, you know what, I really loved, you know, the way you present, the way you know, carry yourself, the way you communicate. I want to communicate like you. So that's why I'm here. And that's why I came to learn to you. So it's influencing. And right now also in my niche, I see that more and more people are actually creating videos. So right now, hello, Robbie. He's absolutely excellent, yes, with videos. So right now I'm kind of transitioning into that part more and creating more videos and becoming more visible, because this is about like high visibility, right? So if people see you also, I mean, texts are great and everything, all these different things that we are doing in terms of the content, but videos are really powerful because they can connect to you better, to have the sense of who you are, of your values, of the way, yes, you communicate and so on. So I would say that is like one of my biggest moments. And get over perfectionism. Yeah. Hello, my darling. Okay, you're here. It never goes away. I don't know in my case, but it's okay. You just sit there, but just a little bit, you know, there, not here. So I can actually do my job and yeah, be not super perfect, but still kind of get the job done, you know.
Yeah. So now we don't want to sound like it's not good to be kind of perfect or like look for excellence in what you do. That's great, but not if it's paralyzing you and you can't make a post or video in 3 months, as I didn't do because I feel like it's not perfect. Thank you, Maria. Many good points, and LinkedIn Live is definitely a very good feature on LinkedIn you can use. I know Ilse used it as well. I'm not sure about Joy. Matt, not quite sure. You're not using that, right? But I know Ilse.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. And Carol, I don't think you're using it yet.
Sometimes, but no.
Sometimes, yeah. Great. So that was Maria and Robbie, because Robbie is like LinkedIn really expert, I would say here. And Robbie learned a lot of things about LinkedIn, like really firsthand, because he was experimenting and doing things himself and then learned more and more. So Robbie, what is your maybe takeaway or something about LinkedIn you would love to share with us?
First of all, I agree with everything that's been said so far. I'm really happy Matt and Joy as well touched on engagement, because like LinkedIn, even though I think it's the best platform, it still has a lot of the trappings of social media, right? So when you really think about it, the people behind LinkedIn, they're a group of guys, really smart guys in Silicon Valley, and they're there to try and make you addicted to the platform and get these dopamine hits and everything. So it can be really easy to fall into the trap of, okay, I make a post and then you sit around waiting for the likes or waiting for the notification, and then nothing happens and it feels terrible, and you don't have the validation, and then you think you're a failure, and then it can be a really, really bad trap to fall into. And the reality is, like, there's a small percentage of people on LinkedIn who get a ton of engagement, and they're usually coaches for other coaches. So their audiences are like spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. So they kind of have an unfair advantage when you think about it. And what Matt said about, and Joy, what you guys said about most of your actual clients and your leads, the people who messaged you, hadn't engage with your content. When I had my teaching business with Brazilians, I found the exact same thing to be true. Someone would message me, I'd get onto a call with them and they'd say, oh, I love your videos. And I'm thinking, you've never engaged before. So just because you don't seem to be getting the numbers or the metrics, it doesn't mean people aren't watching. Keep doing the right things, keep connecting, keep putting yourself out there. And when you post content, instead of making your criteria for success, how much engagement can I get? Like, flip it. Okay, if one of my connections sees this post or video today, my goal, my criteria for success is they walk away with something helpful or with something useful or feeling a little bit more inspired. And when you do that, you take all the control back. You now have control of the outcome, and you can avoid like that spiral of negativity that I think we've all probably fallen into at one point or another when it comes to social media. So yeah, like really, really happy you guys mentioned that, because it's such an important point. And like when it comes to consistency, if that's our metric of success, it'll be really difficult to stay consistent.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Consistency was mentioned quite a few times today, and I was like, yeah, be okay with okay, and it's okay if your potential students don't really like your post, comment. It's okay. They still see you. You are still visible to them, at least to some of them. James, did you?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks everyone for being here in the panel. So we're at the top of the hour, and as I said, we're gonna run over a little bit. So for those of you who are thinking about 21 challenge, you still have like maybe 20 minutes to join us in order to meet me for 30 minutes. And I'm seeing a lot of questions about niche. This is good. This is not good. Yeah, I can keep messaging you, but it would be great to stay down like 30 minutes with me, and you're gonna have so much clarity. And I think the clarity gives you the confidence, right? And then you can take action, you can take consistent action, they can be okay with okay. So that all lead to that, right? So instead of just trying to ask questions and let people tell you about your niche, you really need to know it can be very beneficial to do that. And some people ask questions about if there's going to be an October challenge. So for those of you who be following us, we used to do the challenge once a month. We actually stopped that this year. We only did probably 3-4 this year. So they're not going to be a challenge in October, okay? We are not doing the 21 challenge every month anymore because we have other things to have to worry about in the business. So the next challenge, I don't know, could be in December. I don't know, maybe even next year. Maybe this is the last one in 2024. We don't know. Okay, so if you feel like October is a better time for you to join the challenge, then you ask yourself, is it possible to do the September one? If it's possible, do it. I can't tell you how many teachers at the end of the challenge were like, oh, I wish I could have done, I wish I had done this a year ago, 2 years ago, 3-4 years ago. That happens all the time. Maybe some of you guys smiling, right? I know some of you probably thought that too. So it's not like, oh, I need to have all the time in the world to really work. No, it's not. And it's not gonna be happening with the challenge, it's not gonna be happening with your business. It's never gonna happen like that. Just have to squeeze time, commit. That's how you're gonna make it work, right? Don't delay. Do it now. If you feel like, oh, I need to do the challenge, I need to do the niche teaching, I need to get on LinkedIn, do it now. And you have 17 minutes probably to get 30 minutes call with me. That's $150. I told you, if you reach out to me, James, can I speak with you for 1 hour? Okay, $300 and I'll bill you. But here you can get 30 minutes for free just because you guys join the webinar. I want to reward you with that, okay? So just want to comment on that very quickly. And for all the panelists, if you have to go, don't worry, just leave. If you want to stay a little bit longer and we can keep talking about LinkedIn, about niche teaching, don't worry about it, okay? Thank you again for being here with us today.
We really appreciate you. And I
No
feel like
worries. Sorry, could I just jump in very quickly? I actually do need to get going, but I just want to say, for anyone who's on the fence about jumping into the 21-day challenge, and especially with the 30 minutes you get with James, I've been working with James quite a lot this year, and it's definitely worth it. I know you might be thinking 30 minutes, it's only 30 minutes. James knows what he's doing. James will help you a lot in 30 minutes. James will give you some great advice at the very least, but you'll probably get some really fantastic practical steps to take. So I just wanted to say that. I do actually have to get going though, but thank you everybody for this. It was definitely interesting.
Thank you. Thank
I
you so
think
much.
I'll jump similar to Matt, because if you want to change something, you are sick and tired of platforms. I've never done it, but just, if you want to do something, do it, because September is a good month. It's the start of school year or anything. This will be very good, well spent money. You will not lose anything, and just do it, because you'll never have time. Come on, never have time.
Love your vibe, Ilse. You're so right. Exactly. There's never a perfect time. This is
Yeah,
it.
it's a good point. I thought I wanted to mention that, I forgot. Yeah. So one of the reasons we do the challenge in September, we didn't do in August, in July, is because these people, most of the people, right, especially professionals, right, they take a lot of break in the summertime. And I think that happens to even teachers who are doing the business, because they kind of usually have a low kind of season in the summer. And these people feel like, oh, I didn't do anything in the summer, I need to get on something. So a lot of times we see in our community, teacher get more students in September, October. So that's why we intentionally have the challenge in September, because this is the best month to have. And the company has money, and the students want to get on something, develop themselves, get better. So September is a good month. Thanks for mentioning that, Elsie. I forgot to mention it. Definitely, that's a good time to do it.
Yeah, thank you, Ilse. I guess Guy has a very good like maybe encouragement for people who are still hesitating. It's the last comment from Guy. It's a funny one. Anybody else has any kind of advice or encouragement for teachers who are hesitating? So Ilse already mentioned Matt, Carol, Joy, or Maria.
Yeah, I can share definitely. And a lot of people mentioned already consistency, right? So this really, really helps with consistency and some small steps at a time, because sometimes it's not really, I mean, you have all the energy, right? Like, okay, September has come, but what really to do? What really, like, what steps to take? How to, I mean, you can lose a lot of time when you start kind of trying to figure out on your own and so on. But when you have, I would say, pretty much proven system, and I went through this system, and I see that, yes, it helped me tremendously. And yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to me. And of course, I definitely encourage those teachers, just, yeah, like Ilse, just do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually saying in my presentation, like these actions you have to take consistently, and then over time you will see this radical change. But the faster you start with these actions, the faster you will see changes in your hourly rate and even in the impact and freedom you have. So the earlier you start, the better for you. Thank you, Maria.
I think Carol need to say something. Carol.
Yes,
I just wanted to say that, when I started, I was maybe naive about marketing online. I knew nothing about it. And even though I knew education, but I would never have had the success that I've had to date without that challenge. And you'll learn things far more quickly than if you're trying to figure it out on your own. It's just really valuable, and I absolutely recommend it.
thank you. Thank you,
you.
Carol.
Yeah, Carol, actually, there's a question for you in the Q&A very quickly. So this person, Dawn, said, have been teaching teachers online and loved it. Found that teacher didn't know much didn't know much or know how and many teaching skills. So he could use that as a niche. What do you think? So because I think ask you because you also talk about teaching skills.
I think that has possibilities, and that's part of what I do, because I've discovered that in the international scene, people may be hired to teach because they have expertise in science or in mathematics, but they've never really had a lot of training in the actual art and science of teaching. And so I think if I've understood the question, I think that definitely has possibilities. Yes. Yeah.
Great. James, are there any more questions to any of the panelists?
Okay. I guess a question for you, not for me. So what is better, TEFL or CELTA? Like to switch it.
Anybody wants to respond to this one? Ilse.
I think I'll be very challenging here, but it's okay. I like challenges because I think I'm a niche on my own. I'm non-native speaker and I have a university degree of English, but I don't have any of these certificates. I started one. In the middle, I discovered it will not help me with niche teaching because I need something totally different. So you don't need permission from anybody to do what, to do things you want to do and but you're capable of doing. And you as you go on, you learn. But just don't allow this, one more certificate, and not taking action, because I have heard also from others, like from Leslie, who is very successful, but also these certificates, they didn't help him because the nation needs something else. They need their needs are so specific. So, and I started as a bumblebee because if a bumblebee knew that she couldn't fly, I had no idea, how to do things, but I figured out by common sense and listening to niche needs. And if you start from the other end, really listening what they need. So these certificates will not help you, really. I have so nice client recommendations. So I just really encourage you, look at really kind of holistically at all this process, not a specific certificate, really.
So Ilse, thank you for that. Actually, just one client was kind of like, oh, you've got CELTA certification, but all my other clients haven't even noticed maybe, or have never made comments on like what certification I have. I've done my CELTA and I feel like CELTA helped me kind of know what I have to do in a class as a teacher, like how to start a class, a lesson, how to elicit things in the correct way, how to check if they understand instructions. So I feel this is something I didn't know before. So CELTA really helped me, but I didn't do a TEFL, so I can't compare it. I don't know if Robbie or maybe somebody else here can compare these two, like you've done maybe two of them or both of them.
Yeah, I think the most important point there, like the bottom line is, to have a successful business, you need to be really good at what you do. So you need to be good at helping people and solving the problems that you promise to solve. Now, in some cases, a qualification might help you with that, but not necessarily all the time. So like to go back, to give you an anecdote, in my teaching business with the Brazilians at the beginning, I used to always start my sales calls or strategy sessions by introducing myself and talking about qualifications. So, hi, I'm Robbie, I have a CELTA and I have a Delta. And like I would see the eyes start to roll of my students, why is this guy talking about himself? Like, I don't know what a Delta is. So it really, really depends on your niche, what their expectations are. In many cases, all they really want to know is if they pay you, can you solve their problems for them? Some niches may place more importance on an official qualification like a CELTA. In my case, I had them, but they didn't care. Now working with teachers, sure, like the Delta is beneficial from that perspective, but with my teaching business, the students weren't really interested. Having testimonials and case studies and like video content, and that was far more effective than the qualification was.
Yeah, I think, Robbie, you're absolutely right. I'm specifically talking about my niche, real estate. I know business inside out. I know English. I've been using it for 30 years as interpreter. So I know exactly how to do business in English. That's my, and that's what I teach to my clients, and that's what they need. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be exaggerate, but maybe in some situations you need that. Yeah.
So it's not just the language, but the skills you're teaching them. James?
And I don't have a business coach certificate. And I'm not even a teacher myself. So just look at me, right? I'm not even a teacher myself. Okay, it's about the problem you're solving for your students. So you're helping doctors, you're helping engineers, tech professionals. You're not working with them to help them become a better doctor, lawyer. You're helping them bridge the gap in what you teach. You have to remember that. They can be successful, they can be even more successful with your help. So that's how you position yourself. Even Matt left and he's gonna jump in or say, oh, I'm not even that enthusiastic, or I'm not even a football fan. It was like, I'm not even a football fan. But he's really enjoying working with these people, and he sees the impact. So his students, he didn't mention that his students, they got a really good job. Like they got into the national teams, like the coaches, or players. So if you look at his testimonials on his LinkedIn, he got really good results. Like he's working with people players and football professionals in the big leagues, you know, and he started nothing at the beginning. If you guys are wondering, oh, do I need to establish in a way? Do I need? No, he's not even a football fan. He doesn't even watch football. I mean, I don't know for any reason why he picked that niche, but he picked that niche. And it's just we had an interview, right? I'm gonna share the link with you guys if you want. He was like just exploring, and then I think what got his stick is really the results. Like these people are so thankful, and the results of like I can make a difference here. I mean, I can make a differences, and he didn't know about that until probably like 3-6 months into the business, right? I think he's a very good student. He listens. I told him, don't change your niche within 2 months. And he just kind of stick to it, even though he didn't really feel like it's going, right? He stick to it. So certificates, good, all good, right? And one of the questions, someone, I want to do this niche. Do I need to gain more teaching experience before I start this niche? I was like, the only way to gain niche teaching experience is by teaching your niche. No, there's no school. Hey, maybe in the future we're gonna have a school to prepare teacher for any particular niches, but there's no schools doing that right now. You have to develop the experience teaching your niche by actually working with your niche, listening to them, and then all of you guys share that, right? The research and spend time with your niche. Yep, very good with that.
Yeah, great. I think my nephew will be in Matt's niche because he wants to play for a national league, international league. So that's good to know what Matt is doing now. We have Joy here as well. And Joy, I would like you to mention actually the people who are still deciding if they want to join the 21-day challenge or not. What would be maybe your advice, encouragement, or piece of advice?
I mean, I would just say definitely go for it. Maybe people are worried about time, you know, because you think I can't commit. It's going to be loads of work, and you have to find time to make your dreams come true. And last year I was working full time. I have 2 kids, they're 5 and 8. I run the house, you know, you have to create the time, you know, so I get up really early and I do it before anyone else gets up. Like you can make it happen and it flows. And then sometimes I can only do 10 minutes maybe in a day, but just keep doing it and you will see that things happen. You know, I can't recommend it more. It was a game changer for me, really, honestly. I just learned, it was a immersive introduction to a whole new way of working and a whole new possibilities, because I've been in an industry, English teaching industry for 15 years, you know, and still people didn't want to pay me more than 20 euros, you know, and I got all this experience. I'm an expert in my field, and you don't want to pay me 20 euros, you know, something needs to change. But what needs to change is my skill set and my mindset, you know, to be able to get there. So, and you have a great introduction to that in the 21 days. And it's intense, but it's totally worth it. So that would be, just because for me, it was always about time. So I never investigated because it was time, and I got children and the house and the housework and the this and the that. Just stop making excuses and do it. I say, take action.
So basically, even if you have full schedule, you're busy, you can still find time for something that will help you.
Just don't look at Instagram.
Okay. Or look on Instagram, but for your niche, just study your niche.
Yeah, or you can make the time if you're smart about it and committed and focused. You can find that time.
You have demonstrated that, Joy, as you said, with your household and family and, you know, other commitments that you have. So
yeah,
thank you, Joy, for that. Thank you so much for having you here, Joy. And Ilse and Carol, do you have any last takeaways or, I don't know, suggestions, pieces of advice for still like 94 people being here? Anything you want to share?
Just sign up right now for the challenge. I think that would be and no, it's really rewarding when you can make a difference in the lives of your clients. And I think niche teaching is the way to go. So highly recommended.
Thank you, Carol. So yes, so Carol's encouragement is sign up right now. So let's just share the link again with you to sign up right now, as Carol said. Thank you, Carol, for being here. And thank you for this encouragement and your commitment too. Ilse, last but not least, what is your takeaway? And
I think it's as Carol said and I said before, just really sign up because it will be a total game changer and it will be challenging. It's not easy and it will make you grow and you'll be regularly outside comfort zone and and as you keep pushing yourself all the time because if you don't grow, you just don't develop. But it's really worth doing this always journey because it will change you totally and you'll learn so many new skills. And also don't beat up yourself with like not being consistent because I'm not the most consistent person in the world. I travel a lot and now I was like 6 weeks away from LinkedIn. I got back there yesterday. It's totally fine. It's like, so what? It's my life. It's my choice. And some days you don't get to the LinkedIn, it's okay. But next day, you just get back and keep coming back, and the results somehow they just appear. But just something at the end of it, it just happens. Just start boiling the pot, and they somehow land those clients in your reality.
That's so true. I was actually sharing a fairy tale with these 3 magical nuts that I was cracking open. Yes, so it sounds a little bit similar, exactly. But if you just do the thing over and over again, you will see the result. But you can take a time off as well. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that's the reason why you want to have your own business, to actually have your own time and to spend it the way you want it. So it feels as that you can have a break.
I travel like 8 weeks per year, and so I still manage, so it's okay.
You do, Ilse. I think even more, to be honest.
No.
Every time I text you, you're always somewhere else. Yeah.
It's doable. It's just do it. Just go after your dreams. Otherwise, at the end of your life, you'll just Who wants those regrets?
Yeah.
I have more mistakes and trouble than but we
Exactly. Who wants those regrets? And actually, Melinda is saying it's been very informative. Thank you all for encouragement.